You could go to jail. This girl is 16 years old.
So am I.
Jerry, what's wrong?
This punk was trying to rape our daughter.
Three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman. From the foreign land of Canada, our host, Mood 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of moods and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 137 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast is coming at you live. I am your host, the Stepfather Moods. Yeah, and of course I've always got my two stepchildren in the house with me. We got Jeremy the Jew, and of course we got JP the Mexican asshole. And apparently I have no boundaries to who I sleep with. If you guys are my stepchildren. What? Yeah. What's going on, guys?
My butthole.
Sleep with Jews, Mexicans.
Stepfather moods.
Stepfather moods. Yeah. Kind of makes sense. It does actually make sense, though, because I'm a little bit older. Not old enough to
that cop thought you were my daddy, so that's okay.
Oh, dude, that is actually pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
But it's true.
Well, that was a good story. So I think, you were born in 91, right, JP? So I'm 11 years older than you. And that's actually kind of interesting because Jill Schoelen, who plays a 16-year-old in the first Stepfather film.
See, I was going to talk about that when we were going to be. Is it immorally wrong to see somebody's tits when they're playing a character under 18, even though they're above?
You don't see it Dude, you don't see it often.
You know, it's funny.
Like in this movie, you see her tits. I was like, but she's only supposed to be 15. Why am I looking 16. At her tits, even though she's whatever? It's the same shit.
But you know what's funny, Jeremy? I literally have the exact same thing written down.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about that too, but I was just actually talking about the cast. You know, Jill Schoelen, who plays a 16-year-old, is actually 23 in the movie, and Terry O'Quinn, I think, was only 35 at the time of the movie was made, and her mom in the film was like 39. So the ages didn't even make sense, really, in reality, because he was 11 years older and 13 years older, or something like that. Their parents were so. Yeah, so it's kind of relevant to us. Very, very similar, I guess.
Hey, you didn't see To the Devil a Daughter in 76. Mm-hmm. You want to be uncomfortable. Isn't that girl underage?
That girl is, what, 12 or something? Or
no, she's not. She's like 14 or something, but she's naked in the movie.
Like literally 14 in real life.
Yeah,
things that you just can't do in filmmaking today, right?
But I've seen 14-year-old tits before, so not a big deal.
When I was 14.
It's not the point. It's just the purpose of the conversation about is it morally wrong.
No. But, it's interesting. For some reason, I absolutely knew that was going to get brought up because I was thinking the same thing. And it's kind of interesting the way they do it in the film, too, because there's no nudity throughout the whole film. It's right, at the start of the third act kind of thing. And all of a sudden, she's, you get to see her ass and tits. And you're like, what the fuck? It's supposed to be a 16-year-old. Is this wrong? But
hey, Moods.
Yeah.
Hey, Moods.
Yo.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes.
Yeah, now you could say that.
That is true. I am a father of 3. I'm proud to say.
Yeah.
And it is Father's Day at the time of us recording this, and it was not planned.
Yeah, very, very odd. I don't know how all 3 of us overlooked this, but this is a Patreon show, by the way.
Yep, from the guy who fucking gave us Hellraiser.
That's right.
My amazing
he paid for Hellraiser twice.
Yeah, so this is a Patreon show, and we just kind of planned it out. This is the time that we could record it, and it turns out that we're doing the Stepfather franchise and recording actually on Father's Day.
That's and it was not planned at all.
100%
We just realized it a little bit ago.
Yeah, totally random, but that works out, man. That works out. And, of course, I'm rocking my Mother's Day shirt, Got to say that because it's kind of funny.
Well, there's no Father's Day shirt, so I guess you have to rock the next best thing.
They never made
I'm sure there is a Father's Day shirt somewhere.
You could probably get some of those Father's Day shirts. It'd be cool.
Oh, yeah, there is a film called Father's Day. I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Trauma.
Astron 6, man. That's some good shit.
Yep.
So what is new? What the fuck is going on, man? It's
like a normal episode for haven't done one of these in a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a month, I think, since the top 10 in 1976
Yeah, but that wasn't
show.
even a normal episode, though.
No. It's been a while since we've done a relatively normal episode.
Yeah.
I always kind of consider franchises to be not the norm because we do a lot more standard episodes than franchises. But
Yeah.
I'm always a big fan of doing these shows. They're very easy to prep for. It's just I don't really know what that means, but this is a small one. It's 4 films. It's 4 films. Very quick. Actually, I shouldn't even say. I mean, the last 2 films in this franchise are actually kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
They feel long too.
They're each 100 hour and 41 minutes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's like totally ridiculous, but
especially the third one.
Yeah.
Drags.
So, what have you guys been up to?
Oh man,
same old.
Been chilling like a villain, man. I had a very interesting thing happen to me last week. I got
too.
I got to tell the story
at the same time.
I know, it's so bizarre, and
had the same thing.
Surprisingly, this has never, not anything like this has never happened to me. But I was actually on lunch, and I go home for lunch, from work, and I was checking the mail, and this car pulled up behind me. Didn't think anything of it, right? Kind of busted you to go back to work, and as I was pulling away, I hear this voice screaming at me like, "Hey, Moods," and I was like, "What?" Right? And he's like, "Hey, you're Moods from YouTube, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I saw it on your license plate there." He's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your channel." And this guy came flying across the road and, to give me some slaps and throw me some skin and shit. And he's like, "Man, I love your channel, man." He's like, "You live around here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I live right there." And of course, naturally, I went back to my house to check my alarm to make sure that shit was set after this,
Yeah, because you're going to come in like Jerry and just put it right in your butthole.
It was so random, but I was a little bit shocked too because I'd never seen this guy before, and apparently he lives on the street just adjacent to me, and I'd never even seen him before, and he had no idea I lived in this town because I don't think I ever say the name of the city I live in, but so that was just a very odd experience. But this guy was a little bit giddy, man. It was pretty funny.
I had the same experience too.
Yeah.
First time ever. Somebody was like, "Oh, I was out with my buddy DVD hunting." And
you have a buddy?
I have a buddy from film school that likes
it's his mom.
DVDs, yes. Yeah, my mom. But anyway, fuck you guys. I was out hunting, and I was in the shop, and this guy had a manual and The Last Cannibal in his hand. I was like, I started talking to him about that movie, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're from YouTube, aren't you? I think I saw you on the sidebar of Moods' videos one time." I was like, "Fucking, of course, Moods. Everything is about fucking Moods all the fucking time. Moods, and the fucking celebrity Moods." But hey, I got recognized.
I have yet to be recognized anywhere for anything.
Yeah.
The closest thing was the Schroyers.
Oh, I was gonna say you hang out with those guys in real life.
Yeah, but they I guess. Well, I mean, yeah. I guess that's technically one of them, right? Like they listened to the podcast and they heard me say where I was from at some point, and they're like, "Holy shit!" I'm like right there, and then we met up outside in the real world.
Yep.
Yeah, I hung out with him a couple times.
And then you found out how fucking crazy Andrew is, and you're like, okay, you don't have to be friends anymore. He made some more insane comments this week about retarded movies. Oh man.
Does he legitimately forget sometimes that his favorite era of films is Floating Heads era?
I understand. I understand that, but some things that he says just like, I don't know. I can't take him seriously when he says his favorite film this year is Breaking In and things like that.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
I thought it was Truth or Dare.
I know he said maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I know what it's going to be in 2019, though. I know what it's going to be in 2019. It's going to be
Death Date 2.
Part Dukes. Yeah.
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 See, the thing with Andrew, though,
anticlimactic,
and I think this is fair to point out and important, is he often will admit that movies are better than others. Like, he might like the Chloe Grace Moretz film the most, but I think he gives a fair shake and says that the original's better. So, I mean, it really is that,
like everybody constantly says like, oh, it's just opinion. It's opinion. Like people are entitled to their opinion. So, but Andrew gets a lot of hate for his, although we all sort of stress the fact that
I think it's because his opinions are so
tastes.
They're just so asinine sometimes. You know, it's like you can't help it. Like, whoa! Like, I mean, a lot of times people say shit, and I'm just like, whatever. You know, that's your opinion. You don't like this.
It's only him. It's literally only and Don and Nelly a little bit.
Don and Nelly, yeah.
when he gave Jersey Shore Shark Attack a 9 out of 10, I literally almost lost my shit.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that's the type of shit that gets my attention and goes, and it makes me go, really? 9 out of like what?
Yeah.
How could you do that, right? So you have to question a little bit because generally, I mean,
what was that? What was that?
Really don't give a
Key
fuck.
film that he gave a fucking 9 out of 10 that was absolutely ass. That last one that we reviewed.
Oh, fuck.
An Italian horror.
Yeah, what was the name of that? I can't even remember.
See, nobody knows because it's ass.
Wasn't that macabre one, was it? Or
No.
It
was fuck. What was the name of it? I'm gonna find out.
I am totally having a brain fart right now. I can't remember.
Massacre.
Oh yeah, the Mass. That's right. That was.
He didn't give that a 9, did he?
Yes, he did.
That movie was a mess.
He gave it a 9.
I can't remember.
That's
crazy.
Sucks.
But yeah, you know, it's things like that that definitely get my attention. I mean, you can't help but say something, right? But it's actually kind of fun to go back and forth with Andrew because he just, just when you think he's not going to one up his last comment, he does it. And I'm just like, oh my god.
I mean,
we were hanging out,
saying that Truth or Dare is a better movie than Happy Death Day. I mean, they're both not good. But that's as stupid as it is already.
Yeah, I like Happy Death Day more.
Yeah,
Andrew, we're not picking on you, man. We love you.
Yeah, we are.
Andrew bought the Scream 1 and 2 soundtrack on vinyl when we were hanging out the other day.
What did those
I was like,
things
do you
go
have
for?
a record player? And he was like, no.
Those fucking expensive if they're new.
It was actually no, dude. It was crazy. Like for some reason, it was like $10 or something nuts like that.
Oh.
Wow.
But it was listed way more. But for whatever reason, when it actually rang up, it was like $10 or something.
He's like, they're probably like, nobody's gonna buy this shit, so let's just give it for $10.
Yeah, getting.
I was trying to tell him. I was pulling out all these other ones. I'm like, but this soundtrack is better. And he's like, no. It was like Hellraiser. I'm like, Hellraiser is definitely a better score.
Should have gave him the Stepfather soundtrack. That's a good soundtrack. Nice synth.
Yeah, it's
you
not
like
bad.
this?
I have a story kind of. So I went and seen Hereditary.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This was, oh man, it was, I feel like I've exhausted my conversation on this because I've told a few people now, but the listeners haven't really heard. Yeah. So it was okay at first, it was pretty packed, not super packed. And we ended up going in a little late, and for some reason, Andrew's like, we were like, well, where do you want to sit? Because there was a big group of us this time. And Andrew's like, I usually sit in the first row. And I'm like, huh? So we did it because I was like the only
this
empty
mofo
row.
sits in the first fucking row?
Yeah, my neck was like,
yeah, maybe his neck is, maybe
as soon as I sat down, I was like,
this row that his fucking painful neck has gone to his brain and made him stupid.
That's insane.
I was like,
who sits in the front row?
I was like, this was a bad choice. As soon as I sat down, I was like, but honestly, after about 15 minutes, I got used to it and it didn't bother me. But at first, I was like, this is just too much. So we're watching Hereditary, and it's all good. There's some kids that are in the row behind us. I would probably honestly say about 10 of them. And they're like saying things and commenting and laughing at stuff that's not funny and stuff. But it wasn't too bad. It's just like, oh, this is like, kids do that. You expect that, whatever. But as the movie went on, probably about the 45-minute range, they started getting louder and more obnoxious and like commenting on way too much things and literally talking at certain points. And it wasn't just like, because there was 10 of them, it was like this long line, and there's like multiple conversations in the group from different members of the group, like 2 or 3 little factions there, and it was really getting on my nerves. And as the movie progressed, I started getting more and more annoyed, and nobody was saying anything. Nothing was, nobody was calling them out, and it got to the point where the movie was actually getting like very intense and spooky. And they're just constantly commenting on things, and I got to the point where I was like, will you guys shut the fuck up? And they all looked around like, what? You know, is he talking to us? Like, yeah, dude, I'm talking to you fucks that are talking behind me. And you know, a couple minutes go by, they start up again, and I say it louder, and I'm like, will you guys shut up? And you know, they all stop for a second, and then they start up again. And I'm looking around at the like adults that are filled in the theater behind them, and I'm like, why is nobody saying anything? You know, like I expect it when I say something. If everybody's like, yeah, then I imagine they shut up. You know what I mean? And these kids are literally, I thought they were older than they actually were because it was dark. I couldn't see them. They looked about 12, but they were definitely not 12. They were more like 15. Because
sure it wasn't Jeremy sitting behind you?
Yeah, I look like I'm 12.
At one point, I say, would you shut the fuck up again? And this dude right behind me who was with them, he was on the end, said, hey, you can't tell 15-year-olds to shut the fuck up or something. And I'm like, dude, if there is one, because he said in a theater or something, I was like, if there's one place I can tell people to shut up, it is in a theater, right? Like that's a free pass of telling people to shut up.
Yeah.
And you know, I was just, and then when he said that, Carly like flipped out. She started cussing and saying, I don't even know what she said, but she like flipped out. I was like, finally, somebody backed me up. But nope, that didn't do anything. They continued to talk for the rest of the movie and almost ruined the movie experience because the movie was really good. But the most intense parts, the best parts, they had to comment. Like there's a little male nudity in it, and they're all like, "Oh, I didn't need to see that." Like, oh,
it's like you probably should have watched Lords of Salem.
Like full on commentary behind you, man. Oh,
yeah, and
dude.
And I'm looking around. At the end of it, I was like, you know, pissed off. I was talking shit, and that none of them are looking at me. They're all walking out, and I see that their mom or whoever, their chaperone, because I was wondering, I was like, how the fuck did these kids even get in here? You know?
Yeah,
because it's an R-rated movie.
That's what I was thinking.
And
how the hell did you get into an R-rated movie when you fucking got in? Well, I mean, I would always I would just find somebody in a lobby to pretend to be my dad or whatever. Like one time I went to see Friday the 13th and this black couple took me under their wing, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was really annoying. I seen that they had their chaperone mom that was like 2 rows up above them, and she never said anything the entire time. And I've come to the conclusion that for now on, if that happens again, because this is in the same theater where it happened before with the strangers, this is a bad theater. It's actually a shitty town. It's actually close to where Austin and Andrew live. Like they're closer than I am. That explains it.
Yeah, well, they live in a shitty town too. But the movie theater in their town actually shut down, so this is like the next one closest to them. And next time, I'm just going to go straight up out to the thing and be like, yo, there's a bunch of bitches back there talking. Can you kick them out or tell them to shut up or something? And I remember when I was younger, there would be a person that sat and watched the movie, and they would literally like pay attention and come down and tell you to be quiet, or like if your feet are up on the seats, they tell you to put them down. They don't do that anymore, apparently. So maybe they can't afford to do that or whatever. But yeah, it was honestly one of the worst. It was the worst movie going experience I've ever had, and
worse than The Strangers.
Wow.
Yeah, it was worse than The Strangers, I think, because it actually got verbal, and I was like, I'm about to knock out 8, 17, 15-year-olds. You know, I'm gonna go to jail tonight. I was so annoyed,
that sucks.
And yeah, you know what, man? I was super pissed at all the other adults in there who are pussies. They're literally pussies. They're looking around
because all them fucking bitches in there are thinking the same thing. Like, is someone going to tell these kids to shut the fuck up?
To be quiet, but nobody wants to speak up about it.
They're all thinking. They're just like, is someone not going to tell these kids to shut the fuck up?
They almost be Jerry's relatives.
And then when you do it, nobody backs you up. That's bullshit.
Yeah, but next time I'm just telling on them. I hate to be that guy, but it doesn't work if you just tell them to shut up.
Man, that sucks, man, because, you know, you pay, I mean, I guess you're using your movie pass.
Well, that was the big saving grace, right?
Yeah.
I was
movie
like,
pass.
If I actually paid for this movie, I would be way more mad right now.
And that's exactly it. I mean, do these kids not watch the fucking commercials before the film start?
Not even this. This is
literally
like not
commercials
the
that
movie
tell
to
you
do that.
to
This is
shut
like
the
not
fuck
movie.
up.
I mean, listen, I get it. You're a kid. You want to impress your friends or, be funny or the cool guy or
Not in
whatever.
this movie.
stupid
I get it.
commentary?
I get it.
Fuck.
But there's a level to where it's acceptable, and they greatly surpassed that level.
Yeah, you can do all that shit during the trailers, and all that fucking bull. Nobody cares. But when the film comes on, there's literally commercials beforehand that's, express. Shut the fuck up. Cell phones off. Be quiet in the theater. Have respect for other people around you. Pieces of shit.
That's what those reclining chairs do, bro.
Also, this theater is
Fuck.
the worst one in terms of seats. Like the stadium seats are like,
I love stadium seats, bro.
These seats, they're not raised enough though. It's not on an incline enough. This place has literally had the same seats since I was a kid, man. I saw Amityville remake there back in like 06. Like this place is beat up now. It actually changed from a Carmike to an AMC a few years ago, but they didn't replace all the seats.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
so yeah, that's my main story for the week. That sucked.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty.
Fuck. There's nothing worse than, especially since the movie was so good too, right?
I had two dickheads like that when I went to see Scarface last week. And it's like it was me and these other two people and this one other guy, and they were fucking talking the entire fucking movie, and the movie is 3 hours long. And it was literally driving me fucking insane.
Were they talking about the movie?
No, the guy fucking obviously was obsessed with Scarface, so he was like fucking saying the lines of the fucking movie, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Literally, I've seen the Breakfast Club so many times that I know the lines of the movies that I'm not going to say it out loud if I go and see it in the fucking theater. It's like, shut the hell up.
I do think that seeing retro movies is a little bit different of an atmosphere. I don't mind if people shout out stuff and, get because everybody's seen them.
It's not that kind of crowd, though.
I did that.
I understand if it's like if I go to the music box, I expect that, but it's just a regular 35th anniversary screening of the movie. Shut the fuck up.
One of the coolest things that happened when I went and seen like a retro movie is when I went to the drive-in and seen The Tingler. And in that movie, in the part in the movie, like classic William Castle, there's one loose in the theater right now, like just scream, and then like you're out in like the middle of the woods, and there's like you hear all these screams from like different sections of the drive-in. That was really cool. I like that. That was fun. Everybody was like, ah! Did you hear them?
I understand that. I understand that. But I don't need to hear him say, you know what I'm talking about, you fucking cockroach, in Tony Montana's voice. It's not that fucking kind of movie. It's Scarface, not fucking Halloween. Shut the fuck up. Have a sip of your Coke, sit down, and please just shut the fuck up.
I had to do it when I seen Dazed and Confused on the big screen. And when Slater's like, chicky later. I had to say it out loud, man. I've just seen it too many times, but... Wow.
Speaking of Scarface, I don't understand why people love that movie as much as they do.
Classic, man.
I'm not saying it. I didn't say it wasn't a classic.
You're too white to understand.
I didn't say it wasn't a classic. That movie just has a few problems, is all.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Scarface. I've seen it once or twice. I like it.
Yeah.
Not my favorite movie, though.
Yeah. I can tell Moods probably loves it. It seems like right
up his
alley.
I like the movie. It's not like one of my all-time favorites, though. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I mean, De Palma's done way better films than that. Like that one's not even remotely up there for me in De Palma's filmography.
I didn't even know De Palma made that movie until you guys said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't.
You need to see that documentary, bro.
Yeah, that's a good documentary, man. I got to pick it up. I watched it on Netflix, but I got to get a copy of it.
Fucking A24, yo.
Yeah, it's good shit, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's cool because it goes right through the whole history of him. Like, I mean, right from before he made his first features, there's a bunch of stuff on that, and it goes through like every film. And
every single one.
Yeah, that's an amazing way to do it.
Even like Snake Eyes, which is... I haven't seen the movie in a long time.
Yeah, I've only ever seen it once, and I hated it, but
yeah,
I don't know. Who knows? Those type of movies can always get better, I guess, with time. I don't know. Does it?
I don't know. I've never seen it, so...
Yeah. Well... Since we all told our stories, I guess we might as well move on to some news here.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So first up here, a little bit of, I guess, gaming news since we don't really talk about that too much. As we know, E3 happened. Well, I guess some of you would know. E3 happened over the past week, and they announced a couple games. One I'm really excited for, and that's the one I'll be talking about, is Resident Evil 2. This is a remake of the original Resident Evil 2, and it looks pretty dope. The gameplay is
it looks like
changed.
it's running. It looks like it's running on the Resident Evil 7 engine, but it's Resident Evil 4 style. But like I think all like the character models and everything look like that is.
Yeah, I would
Resident
probably
Evil
guess
7.
that you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
It looks like the gameplay, like the combat and stuff, is very Resident Evil 4-ish, but the layout and the style of the game is very Resident Evil classic, like 1 and 2, where it's puzzles and darkness. They actually even greatly increased the darkness versus the original Resident Evil 2, which is an interesting choice. But this is classic Resident Evil. This is where a lot of the fans came from, was this kind of Resident Evil. So I'm really excited for it. It's supposed to come out. When was it coming out, Jeremy?
January
29th.
29th.
Yeah, it's from what I'm reading, it's a timed exclusive, but it might just be an actual exclusive for the PS4.
Yep.
It doesn't have confirmation if it's a timed exclusive or not. Some people are saying it is, some people are saying it isn't. But yeah, that is pretty cool. They also announced The Last of Us 2.
Looks awesome.
I tried to play that the other day because I do have it on the PS4, and for whatever reason, it was like super glitchy when I was trying to play it. So I don't know if there was like an update or just like
probably the best narrative game ever made. It's fucking amazing. It's so good.
It's pretty crazy.
It's amazing. Really solid stuff. You like Uncharted, so you're probably like those.
I don't love Uncharted. It's okay. I think it's overrated, honestly.
Yeah, I play sports games.
Yep, we know.
I do too. I play Madden and NHL. I don't play baseball. I
play a little bit of fighting games with my kid, and he kicks the crap out of me too, man. I'm terrible at those things. I don't know what it is about fighting games. There's just
it's like you have to learn all the fucking button mashups and
I've never been good.
I honestly just try to memorize what I'm doing. Like I don't look at the buttons and try to memorize everything. I'm just like, fuck it. I'll just start pressing things, and if it works, I'll just keep doing that. I'm terrible at those fucking things, man. Mm-hmm. But really, there's like 1,000 buttons for each move now.
Yep, and you have to move the joystick in a certain direction and press these for one thing, and move the joystick in another direction and press a button for that to work. And
he was kicking. We were playing Mortal Kombat, classic Mortal Kombat, and he was just kicking the shit out of me. I was like, this is fucking stupid. He's 8. I'm like, how am I... terrible. I'm so bad. Oh, well.
All right, so next up here, this news also involves gaming, so kind of segue into that. The Friday the 13th game, I've talked about it here before. It's a good game. It's fun. I haven't played it really since it was released.
Have they figured out all the kinks in that thing?
Oh, it's done now, actually.
Yeah. It seemed like they figured out the kinks in it.
Yeah.
So basically, the game, one cool thing about it is they would constantly add new DLC, downloadable content. They added like the character of Fox into the game. They added they added the other versions of Jason, like Part 5 Jason and the classic Nintendo Jason from the original game, which was pretty. It's like all purple and blue and stuff. And they plan on adding they added new maps. They plan on adding like Jason X and the different Jasons and continue. I think they just added Shelly to the game as well from Friday 3. But because of the lawsuit that's going on that is kind of like froze all Friday the 13th things, they're actually forbidden to add any further development to the game because of this lawsuit. And I believe Jeremy actually posted this that actually breaks down the lawsuit. So I'm going to read that. But so as we know, Victor Miller is kind of in a court case with the I guess, the Cunningham team. Yeah, Sean S. Cunningham. And over the rights to Friday the 13th, which, as we know, kind of stopped all future productions of Friday the 13th until this court case thing gets settled. But nobody really knew what it is, you know? So I feel like this article has, like, greatly, I guess, shown me what is actually going on in sort of layman's terms. So this is Larry Zerner, who played Shelley in the original Friday the 13th Part 3. And he is actually a lawyer now. We did know that. I've heard him on podcasts and stuff before. But so this is what Zerner said. He said, "I've seen a lot of people dragging Victor Miller online as if it's his fault. It's not. The Copyright Act includes a provision that states that an author can terminate any transfer he or she has made after 35 years. Congress added this provision to allow creators, writers, and songwriters who sold their rights cheap to have a second chance. In this case, Victor Miller, he originally was paid $9,500 for the original Friday the 13th script, which turned into 12 movies, a very successful video game, and lots of Jason Voorhees merchandise. This franchise Victor helped create made
Was Jason really merchandised?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I didn't think as much as, like, Freddy and Chucky.
Shirts, dolls.
Well, the masks and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen tons of Jason stuff.
But there's lots of
shot
dolls.
glasses.
And busts and things like that. There's lots of things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Freddy more so, but, you know, that's because Freddy ruled all in the mid to late 80s. Mm-hmm. But he says, but Victor was not entitled to any of that money. Victor did what the Copyright Act allows him to do. He sent a notice of termination to Sean Cunningham, or Cummingham, depending who you are, giving Sean 2 years' notice of the termination, which would occur in June of 2018. The way it usually works in these cases is that the producer and the terminating writer will have the 2-year period to work out a deal on how much money will be split on future projects. The termination does not affect movies already completed. But Sean and Victor would need to make a deal because the termination only affects the Friday the 13th U.S. rights. Because of the quirks of copyright law, even after termination, Sean would still own the rights outside the U.S., but instead of making a deal, Sean sued Victor, claiming that the agreement that Victor signed in 1979 is not terminable. And the fact is that this is a very new area of law, so there is not a lot of guidance for judges who is right. Both sides have very capable lawyers who are arguing the case. One of the problems is that although both sides argued motions for summary judgment last October, the judge in the case still hasn't ruled. This has really slowed things down. I'm sure that everyone involved believed that there would be a trial before the termination occurred. I know it's frustrating for the fans who want new movies and more content, but to blame it all on Victor is unfair. So that's very interesting. That kind of broke it down for me. I didn't know that there was a copyright law that allows an original creator to sort of get some, compensation for something they created if it's past 35 years.
Surprised they didn't have, like, sign a contract.
Yeah, it seems weird to me. Why 35 years, too?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Like, it's just such an odd copyright law. Are we
going to see more of this going forward? Like, is Clive Barker going to...
Yeah, you never know.
Hellraiser, right? And be like, "This is mine, bitches."
Nah, he doesn't seem like that kind of person.
I mean, but what do you mean though by that kind of person?
I don't think he would do that at this point. Would he?
Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's kind of salty where the franchises went.
I would assume he's probably still getting paid for using.
Actually, you know what? That is a key difference there.
Yeah.
He is getting paid, so he would not have a reason to do that.
Yeah.
Same with John Carpenter. So I think that what it is people who kind of get screwed out of it. You know what I mean? And like didn't own any, percentage of the rights going forward. I think the people obviously who made a deal and own certain rights, this doesn't apply to them obviously. So it's people who sell off their rights maybe, or get, screwed out of it somehow, or
that's the thing. If you're selling off the rights, man, you're not entitled to anything after it.
Maybe he didn't sell it off, right? Maybe that's what this case is specific is. It's like Sean just claimed ownership over them, right?
Yeah,
I don't know how it works if you pay somebody to write something. Like how do they decide who owns it?
You just don't know. You'd have to go read through all the paperwork and contract and everything that's in there. And this is why when you're dealing with rights and stuff like that as a artist or a writer or whatever, it's good to have a lawyer go through that stuff because he can let you know what can possibly happen in the future, right? You shouldn't fuck yourself out of, just get that information. It's very, helpful. That's the type of shit that you shouldn't be doing on your own. So, in a sense, it's kind of his own fault. If it came down to that, selling off the rights and, it's, look at Romero when they fucked up copywriting Night of the Living Dead, right? Yeah. All that fucking money, man, from all the years.
Well, that was all public domain, though.
Well, that's
a little different because it's not going to one certain person. It's the public that owns it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying because they screwed up on their copywriting, all right? Because he was trying to copyright that film.
A bullshit thing.
Yeah. So they screwed up.
They essentially, I don't even know, like that can't happen today, right? Like there had to be a law.
No, because back when he was trying to copyright that film and do whatever with it, he probably was broke and was doing it himself.
He probably made no money off that movie.
Well, no, he didn't.
He did
a little bit.
He didn't.
No,
but that's the thing. If he had a copyright, if he had to actually, maintain the rights.
But that's not the story, though, right? The story is that they changed the title and forgot to copyright it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Not that he couldn't afford to copyright it or anything like that. It was just that they literally made a mistake and forgot to copyright.
That's right. So he essentially screwed himself.
Such a tragedy.
But that's why. Yeah. That's why you do that shit with lawyers because the lawyer wouldn't have missed that, right? He would have been like, "Oh, by the way, you might want to put a copyright on that title there." So
because they changed the title from
That's right.
Something I forget what it was, but they changed it and.
It's just such a sad story.
I've never heard of that happening ever before or since, though. So it's like, is there a new law that prevents that simple mistake, where you can retroactively copyright it if it's within a certain time or something?
Mm-hmm.
I think most people just use the appropriate lawyers and they don't miss shit like that.
We aren't lawyers, so
yeah. I don't know. That stuff's confusing to me. Anyway, next up here we have, this is not really news, but I just thought I would throw it out there because a while ago, Fede Alvarez took to Twitter to ask what he should do next. We know that he has his Girl in the Spiderwebs movie, which is, I guess, a spinoff of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo coming out.
Yeah.
But he asked if people wanted to make Evil Dead 2. And of course, everybody was like, hell yeah. But then somebody tweeted at him the other day, just 2 days ago. They said, if Uruguay wins the World Cup, will you make Evil Dead 2? And he said, deal. So to me, that doesn't mean that he's going to make it if they win. That means he's probably making it. Or at least he's probably plans on making it. And,
I don't really understand this whole thing, though. Why do you have to go to social media to give the fans what they want? I mean, he already knows without going on social media that, the people want a second Evil Dead film.
It's to create buzz for it.
Is that all he's doing? He's just putting it out there, or is he actually asking what to make?
I think he's more so just creating buzz. He probably knows that the choices that he gives.
But at the same time, I was talking with I think I was talking with Dylan about this actually. It's been a while since The Evil Dead came out. I mean, if you really wanted to do a sequel because it was pretty successful, you think he would have done it right away. So that kind of makes me wonder maybe if he, it's been 4 years since it came out, something like that, 3 years.
What is different? What is different now versus back then?
Yeah, I mean. If you really want to...
No, I'm asking
5 years.
What is different now than back then? Because there is an answer to this.
I don't know.
No Ash anymore?
No, I think
correct.
It's... No.
Because after Evil Dead came out, shortly after that, Ash versus Evil Dead started movement.
Yeah.
Became a thing. And then the Evil Dead 2 rumors died down. And then what happens is shortly after they canceled that show, that's when he threw out that tweet.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and I believe he even said with, Evil Dead, Ash giving his blessing or Bruce Campbell giving his blessing and blah, 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 blah. Like, maybe it's time to do another
So it's kind of
Evil
like
Dead.
keeping it afloat then, essentially.
Yeah, I think so. And here's the thing, right? He also put Don't Breathe 2 in that poll.
Which I really have no ambition to see a sequel for that at all. I mean, if he's going to pick one or the other, do Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I think Evil Dead 2 has a lot of potential, way more than the first Evil Dead did.
Yeah.
Because now you have complete creative liberties to take the story wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one, you kind of have to stick to the original story a little bit, so it's a proper, it's an actual remake. Probably people out in a cabin, doing their thing. So I think that, and honestly, like I think by the end of the first Evil Dead, everybody was kind of excited to see that story progress. I am surprised.
Well, I think that's all you can do with it, though.
Actually, especially in today's landscape, where and this is one thing that I fucking hate, dude. I hate this. This is one thing I hate about the current landscape of horror. It seems like studios are so against doing a sequel after a certain amount of time has passed. And it drives me crazy. It drives me up a goddamn wall. They're like, well, we should probably reboot it since it's been so long. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad. I don't want. There's so many reboots, dude. Like, I'm even. Like, obviously, I'm super excited about Halloween.
I think they think that the fans have short memories or something. It's like, they totally forgot about the film. Let's just
think that they're even considering the fans.
Yeah.
I think they're thinking about mainstream audiences, and they're not going to know what's going on.
For sure.
When really, that's not even true, dude. It's not. There's so much evidence to suggest that people will remember, and the people that are interested are still going to see it, whether they've seen the first one or not. And I think that's why people are so hesitant to even title things Strangers 2. Instead, they call it Strangers Pray at Night. Because for somebody who doesn't know, that could be a brand new movie, right?
Especially for the adults.
So you don't lose the people that are like, oh, Strangers 2. Well, I never seen Strangers 1. I'm not going to go see Strangers 2. So
well, that's precisely exactly why they do it.
Yeah, it's annoying to me.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
That. I get that.
It pisses me off. Like, make Evil Dead 2, damn it. Don't reboot it. Make Evil Dead 2.
I mean, all you can do is put the progress into the story, because it's not like they're going to remake Evil Dead 2, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to go that way. I mean, right now is like a great time to do it. Elevate the story, keep it a serious film, and just keep going with it. I think it'll fucking do really, really well. Really well. Because like you said, you got full creative control of what you can do with this now. I think that's an amazing option to have, and I think that he shouldn't even hesitate. I think he's already waited too long for the fans. I mean, people wanted it right away. And
it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years.
And
so
by the time it comes out, it would probably be 6 or 7.
Yeah, so it's getting to the point where it's like, dude, you gotta fucking do this, man. You gotta do it. Write something good. Keep it serious. And that Evil Dead 2 bullshit.
I remember when I saw it in theaters on the opening night. It was fucking packed.
Me too. I seen it. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was jammed.
Minus that fucking defibrillator scene.
The MacGyver scene.
Yeah. But, I was thinking the other day, man, I'm like, as excited as I am for Halloween, the new one.
Yep.
It still does bug me a little bit where they're going with it, but I understand why they did it at the same time. New studio, sort of a fresh start. At least everybody knows the original Halloween, so let's just make a sequel to that. But at the same time, I was really thinking about it. I'm like, I was thinking about the timeline, because I seen it. Somebody posted like a meme or something, and I was like, okay, so you have 1 and 2, and it ends there sometimes, and then you have 3, which is its own thing, and then you have 4, 5, and 6,
which really connect 3, 4, and 5, which
connect to 1 and 2. But you can also take 1 and 2 by itself as an endpoint. So then you have 7 and 8, which is 1, 2, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Because it ignores 4, 5, and 6.
So
but
it's 3 and 4.
In a certain script,
so
they actually acknowledge part 5 or 4, 5, and 6. So you could technically, link those together if you use the original script to where it's actually 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then, of course, you have the restart, which is Rob Zombie's versions. It's like there's so many different timelines with these things. And I started thinking, I was like, okay, so I remember when Jamie Lee Curtis came back in H2O, and there was that big emotional death scene with Myers at the end. And then probably the best part of Resurrection is the beginning, where there's this dramatic death scene of Laurie Strode. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where the protagonist was killed off and then retconned and brought back. Like Laurie Strode, like we've seen Laurie Strode die off in the series, and they're like restarting it like she's alive, and it's the same actor. I don't think I've ever seen that in the history of horror movies. It's very random. Bizarre when you think about it. It's like, oh, she died once already. Like when you see her in the movie, you're like, oh, I remember when she died. Like it's such a weird thing. I don't think. Yeah, but
it's like it's not any more weirder than fucking Michael blowing up in Halloween 2 and then showing up again.
It's not even that he blew up. It's that his face literally melted off.
He blew the fuck up. Literally.
I don't think
Loomis blew the fuck up.
I don't think he didn't really blow up, though. His body was intact.
Yeah.
Loomis.
I don't want to say Loomis, though.
Yeah, but in Halloween 2, you literally see Myers' face melting to, like, skeleton.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Halloween 2, but whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just curious to see what they do with this one. But after that, I got a little... Okay, so Tales from the Hood 2 is set to premiere at Fantasia, I believe.
Nice.
So that movie's done. Wow.
I want to go there.
That's such a weird movie to have a sequel to.
Is it...
it's so relevant right now.
Well, I never thought... Well, it's relevant if they make it relevant. You know, the original's relevant.
Is there any word on the cast for that film?
No, I know the shit is coming back.
Is he really?
Yeah, they posted set photos.
That's awesome.
Wow. Dude, yeah. I'm kind of excited about that.
I guarantee the soundtrack won't be as good as the first one, though.
What if it was, though? What if they literally was like, let's capture the feel? You know? What if they had like, oh, that would be crazy.
I can't wait to see it, though. I can't wait to see it.
I just want to it's pure curiosity at this point. I just want to see what's going on. Word on the street that the new Puppet Master is like super violent and
showing next weekend here.
Really? Damn, I would totally go see that.
Nice. Apocalyptic Fest or whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, there was a bunch of titles announced for Fantasia, which obviously none of us will see. Where is
Canada?
Yeah.
Canada.
You should plan to go do that one day. I bet you could get a press pass.
In the middle of the country, I think.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably closer for like you.
No, it's closer for Moods, I think.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that like French Canada?
Montreal.
No, you guys are closer to Montreal than I am. I'm way on the other fucking side of the country.
Where's Montreal? Isn't Montreal in the middle?
No.
Oh. Sorry, I don't know the geography of Canada.
It's more or less, but you guys are closer. Way closer than I am.
All right, next up here, Hereditary on home video.
Already?
Yeah, they announced that they didn't announce the Blu-ray, but they announced that it's gonna have special features, but unfortunately, the 3-hour cut that the movie originally is not going to be included.
3-hour cut. Jesus.
Well, the first cut was already how long was it?
207.
Yeah.
With credits, so it's like 2 hours.
Oh, is that it? I thought it was longer.
No, it's 207.
But that's pretty crazy. There was 30 additional scenes that were not shown.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That could really change.
I bet you the ending. I bet you they cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, probably. I think it was the appropriate length. I don't think it should have been much longer than it was.
Nah.
I feel like I got enough from it. A couple of other things. Blue Underground apparently is working on a 4K scan of Maniac from the previously lost 16 millimeter negative, which was apparently found.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
So how's that going to look, though? The 60 millimeter scan 4K?
I don't know.
I got
Vinegar Syndrome does it. I would assume most of their prints are 60 millimeters. Most of their movies are slosh. So,
yeah.
I mean, if their shit looks good, I would assume at least Mr. Luststick isn't going to fuck up his own movie.
Yeah, that's true. So here's what was said about it. The new 4K master is leaps and bounds ahead of everything seen before, finally presenting Maniac as it was originally shot for the first time ever.
Yeah,
I mean, but the original Blu-ray is pretty shitty anyway.
So I guess the previous transfers were taken from a blown up 35 millimeter.
Yeah,
the fucking transfers are trash.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie's never looked great.
Nope.
On any edition. To be honest, the original Blue Underground Blu-rays kind of look like upscales, to be honest.
That's why I say they look like ass.
Yeah.
So this will probably be awesome. I guarantee we're all picking it up.
Yeah, I mean...
Jeremy actually will probably get it for free, right?
That'll be my 14th
You will
edition
too.
of Maniac. Yes, I'm
not
ridiculous.
me.
Why not you?
Because ever since the dude left.
But you get Severed still.
Man, I can't wait to see
person.
this. I've always wanted to see Maniac with a better transfer. This is so exciting.
I've always wanted to see Maniac at a...
Oh, I've seen it 3 times.
Theater or drive-in.
Yeah,
3 times.
It's a great one.
Yeah, I'll have to... Hopefully they do that one year. And then finally here, they announced a collector's edition of Chainsaw 4 and the Wreck films.
The Wreck?
Did you notice that they changed the artwork on it already?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Do you know why?
Because I guess McConaughey and Selzwiger were pissed off. I would assume that it has something to do with...
Okay, so it says Scream Factory said we did have to remove them due to unforeseen issues with sub.
I wonder what the managers must have fucking probably called up and bitched.
Yeah, so their personnel was
They're still trying to stop this movie from being a thing.
Dude, what are they so ashamed? Like, I mean, yeah, the movie sucks dick, but...
I'm more pissed off that we're probably not going to see any new special features of them talking about it.
No,
because they clearly don't want to be on the cover, so...
Those two won't, for sure.
I know, but I want to see them fuck... I mean, Selzwiger's talked about it, but not fucking McConaughey.
Yeah. I can't believe
right now it says that they'll have the theatrical cut. They're working on obtaining the extended version, so hopefully that happens.
Now that's the entire franchise on Blu-ray now.
They got to get that shit from Canadian.
I'm happy for it, dude. Yeah, right.
Best one.
Because here's why, right? I don't like this movie, right? It's not a good Chainsaw.
It's a terrible satire.
However,
oh my god, here we go again with the satire.
Hey man, a lot of people can
probably right that it was. Yeah. I just feel like that guy is like flip floppy on what he was trying to do in interviews. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It is
such a bad movie, man. Like, it's totally that movie where they were making this movie, this shitty ass satire, and then we're like, we have no idea how to end this thing, so they just threw this fucking Illuminati twist in the end of it. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, you know what,
it's
man?
So stupid.
I'm very interested in hearing the like. This is one I will pre-order and pick up because I want to see the special features on it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Chainsaw films, and this one, although it's bad, it's never pained me to watch. Like, I could watch it. It's I could be entertained by it.
It's watchable.
It's very bad.
I love how fucking people are so funny to me, man. Like, when Scream Factory announced Chainsaw 4, all of a sudden everyone likes the movie. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
You sound like Dave Z right now. He says shit like this all the time.
Well, it was fucking because for years and years everyone's like, man, new generation is fucking trash, it's garbage, fuck that movie, it's stupid, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden Scream Factory announces the Blu-ray and everyone's like, yeah, it's not that bad, it's pretty good, I'm picking it up, I'm grabbing 2 copies, why the fuck not? It's like, shut the fuck up. Give me a break. Nobody likes that movie. It's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't not like it. I mean, I don't like it, but I don't like hate it either. Like, I'm very intrigued by it, is what I'll say. So, I'll pick it up. And the rec set though, I'm pretty excited about because
but how good could those movies look on Blu-ray to be complete? Especially part 1 and 2.
I don't know what they were filmed on, honestly. Like digital, right?
Yeah, but they're like found footage.
They're found footage.
Yeah,
they're
but
very dark.
They still
they're very
use
dark.
Digital cameras, though, right?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
it's
it's
already
cool.
HD, right?
It's gonna be
I
a
don't
cool
even know,
edition.
like-
So
No, yeah, it's a cool. Scream Factory's been killing it lately with their box sets and stuff, and we have a hunch that they might be released. They might do transfers of the Stepfather films eventually.
I do recommend if you guys haven't grabbed the It's Alive box set, man. It was fun.
grabbed it.
It was fun rewatching those films, man. It was good shit. Transfers are excellent. Good stuff, man. Really good,
I would
really
like
good
to maybe do this franchise.
Oh fuck yeah! I'd talk about it. It'd be fun.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? Maybe we should do. Like, maybe we should get.
Wait a minute. Did you just say I sounded like Dave Z going back like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. He says that all the time. Like, I was just listening to a podcast and he's like, Fangoria announced that they're coming back, and everybody was so fucking hype. And he's like, I never seen anybody talking about Fangoria before. You know, where the fuck were they the last couple of years? You know what I mean? And he has a fair point. Like, no, like. Everybody kind of shat on him for like the last couple years. So,
well,
it's weird that
I personally had a vendetta against Fangoria. So
well,
I'm
yeah,
saying
they ripped you off and never paid you.
I know, man. That's bullshit. Like, straight up rip-off job, man. Fuck Fangoria. And you know what? The crazy thing is, they're only doing like how many issues a year? I think they're only
4.
doing. Yeah, they're doing. So it's like one every 3 months.
Quarterly.
Yeah,
that
one every
is
3 months.
Trash,
dude. And the price is insane. So they're putting out 4 issues a year. Yeah, fuck.
Getting them, Jeremy?
Not at no $80 for 4 issues.
Dude, what are they thinking with $20 price tags on magazines, man? Who is going to be buying fucking... That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
But if you buy a subscription, you get the 4 for 66 something. But it's still
also here's the thing too, right? Let me break this down. I've not heard one person mention this. So, a magazine, right? What was Fangoria kind of known for at first was telling you shit you couldn't know anywhere else. That's what back before the internet. Now, obviously, they had to change their model a little bit once the internet became so prevalent and focused more on editorials and different things like that and interviews. But how the fuck are you going to stay current when you're releasing them every 3 months?
Especially with the internet, you know?
Yeah! What the hell are you going to talk about?
The thing with, like, the Fangorias back in the day, it's like, oh, cool. This issue has a 4-page article about Stepfather 3. It's like, who the fuck's talking about Stepfather 3 anymore who actually made it? So it's like,
dude,
it's
in
cool
the
to,
world,
like, pick it up and, like, read it and find out.
In this world of, you know, extreme social media, people tend to forget things right away because there's just so much shit happening and stuff. You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
If you're releasing a magazine every 3 months, when you receive that magazine and you're reading about shit that happened 3 months prior,
like they're going to be talking about Hereditary.
Nobody is going to give a flying fuck about that because they already know everything.
I'm curious to see like what they're.
But is it going to be news based or is it going to be like, you know?
Well,
no matter what, it has to be partially based on what's popular, regardless of what content you're doing. You can't make a magazine that's talking about fucking Stepfather 3 through half the issue today. You know what I mean? It has to be current shit, or, you know, like, yeah, of course you have your retro articles and stuff like that, but what the fuck are they going to talk about?
But dude, for $20 an issue, man, these better be like 300-page spreads.
No, I think
they're
with posters, pins, with posters.
I heard there's like
pins,
120 pages.
Yeah, like posters, pins, trailer comps, like, you know, I want some motherfucking extras with that shit, man. 20 bones.
Yeah. No, I am very okay. So I have picked up some Fangorias lately too, and I've never had them. I never grew up with them. I never had horror magazines growing up. I had video game magazines, but I was not in skateboarding magazines. I was not. I guess, you know, I just wasn't aware of them. And I will say, man, they are super fascinating reading those old retro things. Like, there was one that had an interview with Argento that I was just talking about. And it was fresh off of Tenebrae, and he's talking about prepping and working on the script for Mother of Tears. You know what I mean? It's so interesting to hear him talk about Mother of Tears.
Well, not even that. Like, I just love like seeing like the issues that are like Halloween 7, new info in, or like House of a Thousand Corpses 2. It's like,
and even
all this shit that never
didn't happen. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, you know, I like that.
I like reading, honestly, like the reviews and just the opinions and shit, you know, from the films that came out in the 80s. And just hearing people's reactions to
today has like a huge page spread on the director of the corpse grinders, and it's like a Q&A that's like 3 pages long. It's like, who the fuck has a 3-page Q&A from that guy? You know, it's just like stupid shit like that.
And like Argento was talking about one of the movies, probably Suspiria, I think, and he mentioned the type of film stock he used, and he said like it's gone. We bought the rest of it that exists for that movie, and I just found that so fascinating that like, wow, that's historical. But yeah, so the Rec set's coming out September 25th. All 4 Rec films. Tomorrow they will announce Rec 5.
I said the exact same thing, man.
Yep. But that is essentially the news.
You know, one thing I was a little bit.
Wait, you forgot one thing.
What?
Christine coming to 4K.
I know, that's funny. I was like one of the first people to post that.
Yeah, that's right. Like actual 4K.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I even titled like the article as like, this is probably going to be the start of the retro films coming. What's that?
He crushes it with their transfers.
Why do you sound so far away? What are you doing?
Dude, get back in your room, man. Get back in your room.
Siblings. Check. Can you hear
Microphone check 1 2.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't upset, though, I will say. I wasn't upset that the It's Alive box set didn't come with the remake. Have you guys ever seen the remake of It's Alive?
Oh, totally forgot about that.
Yeah. It was actually the first thing I noticed when they announced it. I was like, oh, they don't have the remake in there, but the remake is trash.
I didn't even know it existed until like 6 weeks ago.
It's really, really laughable because they CG'd the baby, and it's really shit poor CG. Oh, it's fucking awful. So, but I still find it fascinating that they didn't put it in the box set. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah,
one thing I want to. You just reminded me of something. So I watched the Arrow basket case Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
I actually watched it too.
Yeah, first of all, you know, good transfer, stuff like that. Good release. They actually have the documentary on there.
Yeah, it's a good
which
one.
I know was on that UK Steelbook too.
Yeah.
The trilogy. One thing that I will say, if you still have your original Something Weird release, you might want to hold on to it because there's features on there that's not on the Arrow.
You know,
I'd never sell those anyway. I just keep everything.
You know what's funny actually? I do have that Second Sight trilogy Steelbook from the UK. And of course I bought the Arrow, and I had a sealed copy of the Something Weird Blu-ray that I sent to Zach without even double checking the features. So I don't have it. I don't have it anymore.
Because there's a feature on there that I was looking for on the Arrow because I liked it when I seen it on the Something Weird. Yeah. It's essentially like a Horror's Hallowed Grounds, but it's just with Henenlotter, and he's walking around New York to all these different spots where they filmed shit, and he's like talking about it.
I wonder,
super interesting.
Are the features different on the Blu-ray to the DVD? There's Something Weird released?
I have no idea.
I still have the DVD. I don't know.
They're probably the same. I would bet that.
I keep like all my releases. I don't know why.
I give some of them away, but for the most part, I keep them.
Yeah, I've been tossing them to people left and right lately. But
yeah. You toss them to us, you bitch.
He does.
You could say the same thing about all the shit that you get and don't fucking watch. Throw my way, man. You were just talking
you probably give away good shit.
Well, yeah, I just gave him a sealed copy of that one. Fuck. All that Trauma shit you get, man. You know I like Trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been pumping out some shit, man. So that's going to be the news? That's the news?
Yep.
All right, that's going to do it for the news. Yeah, let's move it along here and get into some box office brawl.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Ling, ling, ling.
Yeah, box office brawl. So just quickly an update on the current standings because we had a few things happen that we didn't cover. I don't have the exact numbers for this, but I do know back when we predicted Breaking In, I believe I lost to both Jeremy and Moods, and I think Moods beat Jeremy. And then with the Hereditary, I was way off. Moods was way off. Jeremy was spot on.
For
and
once.
I gotta say, man, I was really, really shocked that it didn't do better because of all the hype and all the people that were talking about it. Like everybody that, there's, you always hear people talk about, are you going to see that film? It looks really good. But it was like everybody was talking about Hereditary.
See, I didn't hear that many people talk about it before it came out, honestly.
I think
but I'll say this. The moment I did my prediction, I regretted it after I started looking into it. Because I looked at the history of A24, and this is typically how I do it. I mean, I look at similar films and what they do. And that's usually why I kind of am decent at picking as well. But A24 has never had a movie do over what this movie did. So, I mean, that pretty much tells you right there.
And it's pretty shocking, too, because, off the top of the show, I was kind of going through the filmography of them, and they've put out some really good films. It's pretty shocking they haven't done better.
Now, that's not to say it's not successful. This is a successful release for A24.
Oh, no, it's good, for sure. Especially based on the budgets.
They don't have the reach. They don't have the reach either. Like, this film was not in 4,000 theaters, you know what I mean?
3,000.
It was a wide release, but
3,000
I think it wasn't even 3,000 at first. I think that it added theaters after the first week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to see it tomorrow, actually. So
in fact, I know it added theaters after the first week. I know Moods didn't even have it the first week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but that's because he's Canadian. Canadians are stupid.
No, it's like I don't know. That always happens with shit. We always get stuff a week later.
So the current standings are me versus Jeremy. It's 16-9. He came up 2 points though. Moods versus me. Moods pulled ahead 2 points. It's 12-10 now. And then Jeremy versus Moods, they split, and did they split? I can't remember. Anyway, it's 9-12 for Moods and Jeremy.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yep. So what do we got coming up?
Jurassic World 2.
And there is a possibility that we might not have a show by the time The Purge comes out. So if we don't, we'll post it on the Facebook group like we normally do.
Jurassic World 2 has already made $370 million overseas this weekend. I already know what I'm going to say.
How much did it make?
$370 million.
In one weekend?
In one weekend overseas.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. I know. I don't really know how to...
$165 million.
Jesus.
That's what I'm going to say.
Man, the last Jurassic Park film opening weekend made...
Dude, Incredibles 2 made $185 million this weekend.
I think the last Jurassic Park film made $280 opening weekend.
No, 208.
Oh, 208. Okay.
208.
Still, over $200 million in opening weekend? That's insane.
Yeah.
So is this one going to do bigger numbers or less?
It's fourth all-time opening.
It's going to do less. It's going to do.
That's crazy. I don't even remember it being that big.
It could do 165.
Jeez.
But considering The Incredibles 2 made $180 million this weekend, I don't know. I still think 165 is probably
okay.
safe.
So Jeremy's saying 165. This is insane.
I'm going big, man. I think this movie is going to blow it out the fucking frame.
No.
I might go see it.
I have no interest.
I like the Jurassic Park movies. I just haven't seen the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
Jeremy says 165 million.
It was okay.
So the biggest countries that it made the most money is UK. It made 14 million. And South Korea, it made 33 million.
Well, it's going to destroy that in the US.
Yeah.
Everything does.
I'm going way higher. I have a feeling this one is going to be, the summer blockbuster.
Okay.
I'm going 202.
So still under the first film.
Around it, but yeah, I'm going to go with 202. I think this one's going to do heavy numbers, man.
Okay, so what should I factor in here? Is it opening up against anything?
No, but Incredibles 2 is still around.
Is it PG-13?
Yeah.
Yes.
13.
Yeah, The Incredibles will die down by then a little bit.
I don't think so. They're saying it's going to make. They say it's going to make over $500 million in its run.
So
I'm a little bit shocked at how well that's doing.
180 million this weekend.
That's incredible.
For that kind of
no
movie.
pun intended.
Yeah, that's insane.
why? I don't even. Is that a pop? I guess that's popular. I never even really heard of The Incredibles.
It's okay. It's pretty good.
I like the first one, man. It was okay. I was surprised they came out with a sequel so many years after the original
it made
one.
34 million in China on Friday.
Yeah. Come on, JP, say your fucking number, bro.
No, this is
You should
very
have thought
important
about
moment.
this before we started the show.
Yeah, you got to do your research
I
before
did
the
think
show.
about it.
You should have just said.
I'm talking my way through it to be entertaining for the listeners. You just shout out a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thought process behind this is I do think that it's going to make less. It has to make less. It can't make it. There's not the hype, because here's why, right? When Jurassic World was first announced, it had been a very long time since a Jurassic Park movie.
It's just like the Star Wars syndrome.
Yes. And as we know, typically the second film does a little less. Sometimes it does more. Third film usually always does less. But second film, it depends. But I don't see the hype for it. I really don't. Like I remember the hype for the first Jurassic World, but I don't see the hype for it. So I feel like it's not going to surpass 208 million, 208 million. Gee, I can't believe we're talking this big of numbers right now.
Yeah, we just came from Hereditary, did 13.5 million, right?
This is scary, dude.
I know. It's crazy.
Dude, you have such a big margin, JP. Jesus.
I know, but here's the thing, Jeremy. I know I'm going under moods, but how far? But do I go under you or over you, and how far away? Like, if I go under, I only have to go $1 on it.
I planned this to fuck with your head. As soon as Jeremy said 165, I'm like, I'm going way higher. This is going to totally play with JP's mind.
Yeah, so I don't want to lose the moods. That's for sure, because I already lost him the last 2 times.
Baby.
What's the budget on this one?
170,
if I could find
170 million or something.
No, considering the budget for fucking Solo was over 300 million. 170 million, yeah.
Oh, it was right on. Yeah.
I feel like I need to go above.
So it's already made money.
Jeremy. I feel like I need to go above Jeremy.
If we follow the rule, is you take the budget and you double it for marketing, it's probably already made money almost.
I don't know really that much in marketing. You think? Probably.
Oh
not.
yeah, dude.
I think
100%. Yep.
It's in 4,400 theaters. Jesus Christ, that's the same as The Incredibles.
Oh my God, say a fucking number, bro.
What did The Incredibles make?
180.
Okay, I'm probably gonna go with. Let's go with 190.
What?
190.
Okay.
It's only 12 million less than Moods.
Yeah, I mean,
spend all your time for that.
Well, I'm trying to think here, man. I'm trying to think. I'm logically thinking about this. This is an important win for me.
I'm thinking, man. It's summertime. This is the block, but I think it's going to do just crazy numbers, man.
See, my main concern. I'm not worried about Jeremy. My main concern is beating Moods right now, because I still have a lot of room on Jeremy to mess up, but Moods can quickly pull ahead of me if he wins another one. He's going to be up 3. So I need to just what I should have done was pick either over or under Moods and just go 0.1 under him, because that's all, or over him, because that's what matters right now. But I took a gamble and tried to pick what I actually think. So 190.
190.
Jeez.
All right. See what happened, boys. We will see what happens.
I think
that just seems like so much.
Yeah, I know. I think these are all fair guesses, though.
Hey, JP.
Shit, Avengers Age of Ultron.
Hey, JP.
What?
I want to ask your opinion on something.
What?
Since you're an expert, I didn't ask in the intro. What is your take on Punk getting destroyed, and what is going to happen?
Oh, okay. So just very quickly, because I know our listeners don't love MMA. I thought that the one thing you could say about CM Punk is I 100% respect him and think that it takes tremendous balls when you don't need the money, you don't need to do anything, but you just want to prove to yourself what you're capable of doing. And he did get beat pretty bad. He arguably won the first round, but it was very sloppy, and he was extremely gassed by the second round. And the fighter Mike Jackson probably could have finished the fight in the second round, maybe even the first round, had he actually not been screwing around. He says that he carried CM Punk. Dana White already said that Mike Jackson isn't fighting in the UFC again. Punk definitely isn't fighting in the UFC again. He just doesn't have... Here's the thing, right?
Why isn't he fighting in the UFC anymore? Not Punk, the other guy.
Because he fucking was just playing around with Punk and not finishing the fight when he should have.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
He was just showing everybody how big of a noob he was.
But here's the thing, right? It's okay to show off, but you better back it up later. Don't show off.
He did it for a whole round.
Decision. You know what I mean? You're going to take a guy who clearly looks like he shouldn't belong in there to a decision. You suck, bro. Get out of here. I agree with Dana White on that decision. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But Punk is... Okay, first of all, his talent is... Even for being very new at it, he wasn't fighting another high-level guy. Like, he was fighting somebody that was on... a slightly above amateur level. Mm-hmm. So I do think that CM Punk's actual talent is severely lacking. I give him props for trying, and that's another.
Well, didn't Joe Rogan call him talentless?
Yeah, but that
Joe
Rogan
it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't 100% agree with that.
I love Rogan, man. He's always got opinions that I agree with. So
yeah.
But
yeah, for the most part, I've disagreed with Joe on most of the CM Punk stuff that he's talked about, though. He's coming at it from a completely dumb angle, in my opinion. Because he's looking at things like it's like life is fair. Like, it's weird how he's saying like Alistair Overeem and this guy should be in the opener to the pay-per-view, not CM Punk. And it's like, no, that makes no sense. That if everything is based on how qualified of a... That's not how cards are built. It's not the best at the top and the worst at the bottom. It's never been like that.
Yeah, because he had a lot of Chicagoans in the fights too.
Yeah, it's literally never been billed from best to worst. Yeah. It just hasn't been. It's usually billed by popularity. That's how fight cards are laid out. So
well, of course, you don't want to go. You don't want to go to a fight card or rent a card where there's everyone on there you've never heard of.
Yeah, talent doesn't really factor in. It does a little bit, but it's more about popularity.
Yes.
Now, granted, most popular fighters are also most talented fighters. It's just a weird case with the CM Punk thing because he's popular for a different reason. The problem is, dude, he doesn't have skill. He doesn't have the skill to be a fighter. Maybe if he started when he was 30 years old instead of 36 years old, he might have been able to do something. Also, he went into the UFC, and regardless, Mike Jackson is not a UFC caliber fighter, but
Mickey Galt is, and he got his ass kicked.
What's that?
But Mickey is, and he got his ass kicked.
Mickey Galt, but Mickey Galt isn't even an elite fighter. He's a bottom tier, like middle of the road coming up fighter. So that even shows you how much distance between Mickey Galt and Mike Jackson there really is. Yeah. It's insane. So CM Punk is an amateur, essentially. You know what I mean? He didn't have the difference between CM Punk and, like, say, Batista or Brock Lesnar or that Mexican dude is they have a background in martial arts, whether it's wrestling or, well, it's usually wrestling, or jiu-jitsu or something like that. That is a actual martial art. CM Punk, I don't know how he got into pro wrestling, but it wasn't through any type of martial art.
It wasn't through amateur.
No, he was a good actor.
Man, stop saying that shit. It's fucking 2018, all right, man?
Which you don't see that often.
Stop calling them actors at this point,
Jeremy.
Isn't that what they are?
They fucking are.
But they fucking do crazy shit. No, let's see you do that shit.
They're athletes.
Jeremy, they're fucking actors. They're playing characters. They're scripting dialogue. What the fuck is that?
Acting.
It's called acting, Jeremy. I'm calling it what it fucking is. Stop getting
You're like
pissed
that
off
guy
over
that's
the
like,
facts.
it's real to me, damn
I
it.
didn't
Dude,
say
it's
it's
called-
real to me.
it's
It's
called
not real. Everything's
entertainment.
fake and everything like that, but fucking jumping off
I
of
didn't
fucking
say anything
cages
about
and
their
shit.
abilities in the wrestling aspect, but they're still
I
playing
mean,
characters and they're
Kane
acting
Hodder
and they're
is a
scripting.
stuntman and an athlete, but he's still an actor.
Yes, dude. It's not a disrespect to anything. That's what they're doing. It's entertainment, just like movies. It's
Yeah.
the same fucking thing, man.
The
Except
only
they're a
thing
little
is
bit more
it's set in the
physical.
real world.
They're just a bunch of stuntmen out there that can act pretty well. You know, and play these characters and shit, man. I mean, like, fucking Ric Flair, man. Like, he was amazing.
But I mean, I think that it very much finally reveals the fact that, well, not finally, I think a lot of people knew, but it sets in stone the fact that just because you're an athlete does not mean you can fight. Completely different things.
Well, I think he's
so
proved that.
anytime the pro wrestler fanboys say like, "Oh, you should try to take a turnbuckle to the face," or it's like that. Honestly, that doesn't matter in a real fight, homie. Like, just. But yeah, you know, it was a cool experiment. I don't want to see the UFC do it again. There's a reason why Brock Lesnar was successful because he had a background. Ken Shamrock as well, to a lesser extent. Rumor has it Brock Lesnar might actually be fighting again, which is pretty cool. I've always been a fan of watching him fight. I hate him as a person. Like, not hate, but I'm not a fan of his personality. He's very
such a
lame.
huge ego.
He's just lame. He says lame stuff.
That's why it's fucking Paul Heyman talk for him all the time.
Yeah, and that sword tattoo is atrocious. Can we all point that out?
Well, it's there forever.
That thing is pretty whack.
But I if one thing can be taken away is CM Punk has mad heart, and I appreciate that and respect that. It's cool. Not many people would do that. Many of wrestlers have had a chance to do that, and nobody tries it. And the reason they don't try it is because you usually look dumb. Unless you have...
Well, he did look pretty dumb.
Background. Yeah, but you know what? He tried.
Like how he was running after him into the side of the cage, he looks fucking stupid.
His like, you could tell right away that his stand-up was so bad. Like, he just doesn't have the fluidity, and he doesn't have the combinations. He's like just kind of throwing wild punches. It's just, you could tell a trained fighter versus somebody who's just picking it up. It's just a lot different. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's that.
That's it.
22 shots.
Did you guys want me to debut my new segment here?
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know what to call this. As of right now, we're calling it They Said What? That's what it is. So basically, I have reviews here. They can be from Bloody Disgusting. They can be from a reviewer. They can be from one of our friends. But I will stick to the wheelhouse of similar people. So once you guys get them revealed, it'll probably be like the same like 6 or 7 people. So the concept here is I'm going to read a review. I'm omitting anything that gives away what the film is, and I'm retyping it like instead of the Frank.
So you're kind of
Darabont,
paraphrasing?
Yeah, I'll title it to male lead if it's in the review, if the person's name is in the review or something like that. And I'm going to read the review. The first one's a little bit long, so bear with me. But I thought it was funny for the first one. And then your goal between you and Jeremy is to guess the title of the movie and the reviewer. If you get either of them, you get a point. If you get both
we're
of
doing
them,
another point system?
yes.
Can it just be like a team thing?
Well, a team thing? Is there enough
Just me and Mood, just me and Moods trying to guess what it is.
Me and Moods, you and Moods versus me?
No, just me and Moods is trying to guess who it is. Why does that have to be a fucking contest?
I don't know. It's fun.
Whatever.
All right. But one thing is, it is handicapped. Jeremy gets 2 guesses. Moods gets 1 because Moods has seen more movies.
All right.
Sound fair? All right. So, first review. I have 2 tonight. This here turned out to be quite a rather dull and overblown effort without a whole lot to really like. The most detrimental and rather unimpressive element featured here is the film's simple
I have a question.
storyline. Yes.
Are we going to wait to the end to reveal or what we have?
You can guess whenever you want, but keep in mind you only get one.
But do you have to say them both at the same time, or could we say what we think is the movie, what we come up with the movie first?
No, you could do either one, whenever.
Okay, all right.
Here is this film's simple storyline that doesn't really allow it any kind of semblance to being a horror film, as the psychological implications generate very little shocks or actual supernatural scenarios. The shots of the family arriving at the location, and
it comes
see, that's one that I changed, right? I changed what the person said to location. So, no, you're wrong, by the way. So, you lost your guess. The family arriving at the location and being shown around the location, procrastinating while trying to work. That's another one that I omitted. Work. I changed it to something else. Nope. And the continuous shots of him being simply staring off into space as the camera tries to make us think. Actually, you know what? You guys can. I think it would be fair if you guys get more guesses, but the camera tries to make us think that it's building towards insanity is mostly pretty laughable, as there is little explanation for anything throughout here. The scenes by themselves aren't considered normal horror scares for a reason, in that they play more like the activities that occur in a drama, which is what it feels like more often than anything, as despite the few times it really tries to swing things over into the horrific, mostly window dressing against the more common drama elements that are put into play far more often in here. Those scenes make it difficult to fully understand many other horror efforts. This is going to be funny when you guys find out what the movie is. Horror efforts present in the later half, where it starts getting into full-on effects of the meltdown, which makes no sense. And that furthers another big, highly problematic effort here in the film is completely unsure about what is actually happening to him. Though it makes... Correct.
Yes.
What did he say?
The Shining.
The Shining.
Oh, fuck. I was thinking... yeah, that makes sense. This
is probably the line that was going to give it away. Though it makes a small mention of being built on top of a burial ground there. So much unsure about but you could have thought Poltergeist as well.
Yeah.
So much here about the outline of events that cause him to become an unstable maniac, when there are so many other elements coming into play here to account that change, going from the idea that the burial ground is a concept of tormenting spirits, then finally his own mental instability. Okay, I'll skip along here.
I had modern in my mind free from the start. I thought it was going to be something modern.
So, no. So, at the very end, the last line, it says, all too often it takes up too much space and the characters are so small compared to it that already massive building looks even bigger than it really is. With the powerhouse final that includes the film's only real suspenseful moments, attitude toward action, they're enough to help the somewhat, but not enough to overcome the flaws. 5 out of 10.
Sack.
No.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. You would give it a 5 out of 10. That was just a joke.
I changed the ratings from whatever format they written it on. So if it's like if it's out of like 4 stars, I'll change it to a 10 scale system. But 5 out of 10.
So.
Damn, dude. I don't know. I don't have a clue who that is.
Ebert. I don't think it's Ebert. I think he would have gave that movie high marks.
Take a guess, guys. You get a guess.
I'm going with Ebert.
Okay.
That's what I think it is. Yeah.
I'm going to go with I'll go with his side partner. I'll go with Siskel.
Because I believe that they did shit on that.
No, it is Don Anelli. It is Don Anelli.
He gives that movie a 5, but he gives Jersey Shore Shark Attack a 9 out of 10.
Dude, my head is spinning right now.
Like, The Shining is a 5 out of 10.
Exorcist style, man. Oh my god, that's bizarre.
I think needs a fucking mental examination.
Okay, so Jeremy comes away with that round with 1 point.
Yes.
Let's go into round number 2.
Oh, how many are we doing? Isn't it
just 2? Just 2. And this won't be an every episode thing. It's just here and there. All right. This film brings to the genre is a refreshing sound of laughter. This movie is disgusting, of course. It's impossible to satirize this material, I imagine, without presenting the subject matter you're satirizing. But this film, I'm changing certain things. Like they mentioned the film title, but I change it to this film, is not nearly as gruesome as the films it satirizes. And it finds its right stylistic note for its central characters, who are simple, cheerful, smiling, earnest, and resourceful cannibals. This film is a ramshackle place that seems to be located in some redneck backwoods where these characters all live. It is operated by a friendly male lead and his sister. This district
Motel Hell? No, why did I say that? No.
You're correct. It's Motel Hell.
Oh,
yes!
For fuck's sakes.
Yes.
Seriously? That was Motel? God damn it. That was a lucky fucking guess.
I'm good.
This is just as well because Farmer Vincent, which I changed.
That could have been fucking anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm very surprised he got that.
Yeah, dude. I was waiting for something to give it away.
This is where it probably gives it away. The lead specialty is burying people. He just doesn't wait until they're dead. He waylays unsuspecting travelers, knocks them unconscious, buries them up to their necks in a secret garden, flattens them up with the cattle feed and slaughters.
Why did I say that?
Dead giveaway. I can't believe you got it before the actual giveaway.
Now don't forget, there's still the reviewer here. So, all right, now, of course, this is disgusting, but hold on just a dog bone minute. It isn't simply the subject matter of sleazy movies that makes them reprehensible. It's their low. By the way, I suck at reading. Sorry, guys. It's their low opinion of human nature. Their Jesus Christ, this is wordy. Blah blah blah. Motel Hell, like we want. Okay. Let me skip down here. We want to be scared, sure, but we also want to laugh. Enjoying the delicious self-indulgence with which Vincent Price and Christopher Lee hammed up, but horror movies stopped being funny, and now they're mostly just depressing, disgusting exercises into depravity. Motel Hell is a welcome change to pace. It's to Texas Chainsaw Massacre as Airplane.
Oh, I know.
Is to Airport. It's some great moments, including the dual fight with chainsaws, a hero swinging the. Okay, you guys get the point.
I know who it is.
Okay, who?
Ebert.
That's who you saying.
Man, guessing the reviewer is insanely hard.
I read this before. I know I got it right.
I just don't. I'm trying to think. Christian.
Once he said the Christopher Lee and Vincent Price line, I knew who it was.
Yeah, Jeremy's correct.
Wow.
It is.
I think I'm more in shock that they actually reviewed Motel Hell.
You know what? I'm in shock that Jeremy got 3 points out of this when I expected nobody to get a point.
I can't believe he got Motel Hell with that description before it was given away. I was like, motherfucker.
Jeremy killed it, dude.
I'm good at trivia, bro. I'm good at that. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I didn't do good at horror trivia nights, but I mean,
yeah,
I did okay.
I would have got that 2 lines after.
Even though I never knew what fucking Jason's dad's name was. Anyway.
Good job, dude. Anyway, that's the concept there.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll try to shorten them up next time because I didn't realize how long that would actually take to read. I'll remove a few lines or something, but or pick shorter reviews. But that's the concept. It could be, like most of the time, it's gonna be people that we know. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like it might be. You can just say bloody disgusting. You don't have to say a specific person. You know what I mean? For that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
cool stuff.
Oh, and he rated it like a 7 out of 10 in if you transfer his 4-star rating for Motel Hell, which is pretty cool. 3 out of 4 stars, I think.
Man, I can't.
Yep.
That's shocking to me. All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, let's get into some Deadmail.
You've got mail.
Yeah. All right. So this issue, man, this is a really nice we have issue number 111 from April 1992. And on the cover, we have the main feature review is Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. And on the side, we have first exclusive look at the Leprechaun.
Yo, that's awesome.
More King Thrills, The Lawnmower Man, Techno Killer Strikes. Stepfather 3, Father Slays Best. And then we have Dark Shadows, The Vagrant, and this film that I've never even heard of, but it seems awesome. It's called Guilty as Charged, and it looks like a electric chair type of film. I've never heard of this movie. Moods, have you heard of it?
Yep.
Is it any good?
I've never seen it. I know what the film is, though.
All right, so let's get into some letters from folks. I sticky note this off, but I probably fuck them up. Okay, here we go. All right, this one comes from Judd Nelson. From Charleston, West Virginia, and he writes, I just returned from seeing Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs for the second time, and I've only one thing to say, wow, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, including Stephen Gordon's The Pit and the Pendulum. Craven has not made a movie like this since the original A Nightmare on Elm Street and The Hills Have Eyes. Though The People Under the Stairs is no comparison to his last House on the Left, it still takes Craven back to his original formula. He is one of the best directors in the genre, and I can't wait to see more of his work. That's it.
Well, it's a great movie.
Yep.
He appreciated it, unlike a lot of people back when it came out.
Yep. So we have a lot more people writing about that, but I'll write about somebody who didn't like the movie. And he says, you know things are getting bad in the genre when the best film Wes Craven has done in the last couple of years is the made-for-TV movie Night Visions. As you can tell, I did not like his news release, The People Under the Stairs.
Fuck him.
The thing that ticked me off the most was that it looked like it was going to be a horror movie. It started off with two very creepy characters and turned them into Disney villains. What started out as a horror film became an action
seriously,
adventure.
Disney villains? Who is this jackass? I understand what he's saying. This is not a straight horror film, but Disney villains, dude, come on. There's like incestual, like rape subtext under here.
I was just gonna say that. Since when does Disney villains, have subtext of incest?
Well, not really technically incest since they stole her, but rape at least, pedophilia, and also fucking serious child abuse, cutting tongues out of children. Damn it.
Yep. What started as a horror film became an action adventure along the lines of Die Hard and ended up as a comedy. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm getting tired of movies that are billed as horror flicks but are actually filled with humor. I'm glad Freddy's dead, and I hope Chucky is too. We need to get the shock back into horror films. People should leave the theater unnerved to not laughing. That's it.
I mean, yeah, there should be horror films that unnerve you. But is that all there ever should be? I don't understand these arguments that you can only have one type of horror movie. Isn't that
but this is back in 1992, though.
I don't give a damn that it's still relevant. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's dumb.
Yeah, and nobody's forced him to watch these horror comedies.
Let's think about what in 1992, what horror comedies were there?
Well, I mean, he has a fair point that he is in the 90s, and it mostly is bullshit that's coming out, like Leprechaun and Child's Play 3 and Necromantic. That's definitely not funny. What else came out in 91?
Oh, it depends on how you look at it.
Puppet Master, like 5 or something. Yeah, but I mean, I just don't. I don't. I would be so bored if every horror film was dark and depressing and scary.
I just don't get it. I don't understand sitting there and complaining about that type. If you don't like the horror comedies, don't fucking watch them.
And let's not pretend like People Under the Stairs is like a laugh out loud fucking horror comedy. It's not.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? It has elements of like the adventure, but that's because you're dealing with a little ass kid. Just like it has an elements of an adventure. But there's a lot of dark subject matter in People Under the Stairs, but it also has like tons of he didn't bring up any of the social commentary. Like, People Under the Stairs is vastly underrated Craven flick, especially when you're talking about like grand scheme of like the 90s. but that guy's completely off base.
All right. David P. Kelly from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania writes, I was delighted to read that the Godfather maestro, Francis Ford Coppola, is playing a big screen version of Dracula. Winona Ryder and Anthony Hannibal the Cannibal Hopkins are just perfect as respectively Mina and Van Helsing. I have written Coppola with suggestions for additional casting. Wait till you hear this, guys. Number 1, Al Pacino as the gun Heather Kornowski, the embattled Bavarian mob boss. So I guess he wants Al Pacino. Robert Duvall as the Dracula family attorney and media spokesman, and Marlon Brando as himself. Let's hope that Mr. Coppola has enough sense to consider my suggestions. They could only help. What a fucking dumbass. All right.
And this guy is fucking who?
So there's some random dude.
Just suggest.
Yeah, I'm sure Francis Ford Coppola is going to listen right up.
Yeah, like,
there's so much here, guys. Like, I want to read most of these. So. All right. This guy writes from Britain, and he writes, I could read about the 3 Texas Chainsaw Massacre films in your excellent magazine. I could study the gory photos for hours. I could see excerpts on TV in Stephen King's This Is Horror, and I could even wear a TCM shirt. But what can I do? I can't see the films themselves. What terrible affliction do I suffer from that prevents this, I hear you ask? I live in England, where the original 1974 chainsaw is still banned. Where can I easily rent Society and watch all sorts of explicit gore? Oh, to see the chainsaw films, to watch the unrated versions of the Friday the 13th movies. Am I a 16-year-old gorehound? No, I'm a 37-year-old happily married with a beautiful wife and a beautiful baby. I have a responsible job in the legal profession. I'm a committed Christian and a Methodist preacher. I just want the freedom to watch the films I enjoy, but the English censored is worried that if I see uncut films, I might go berserk and become a serial killer or axe-wielding maniac. I suppose I could get these films illegally and expensively, but in my job, that's hardly advisable. So I just have to live without the sight of Barbara Crampton holding a dummy head between her legs in Reanimator, or Jason snapping somebody's back. In the meantime, all I could do is echo Billy Warlock's comment in Society and say to the censor, butthead.
Fuck censorship, and that's
yeah, that shit was still going on back then, huh? Crazy.
That's the coolest preacher I've ever heard of.
Yeah, Jesus.
Wow.
I think you might have exaggerated there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one about The Bowerer, which is an awesome film. I wish that would finally get a fucking DVD release, but I'll skip it for time. And then this one says... in your July issue, you commented on how the new video release Subspecies was an odd mixture of vampire myth and Gremlins ripoff. I just saw the movie and was completely taken off guard by how well made and authentic it is. I am particularly fond of the vampire genre and very critical of many of the vampire movies made, and this was one of the best. No other movie has been able to capture the authentic surrealism and gothic atmosphere of Transylvania. Anders Hove was fantastic as Radu, the evil vampire. I've not seen such creepy believability since the original Nosferatu. The shots of Radu's shadow slithering into the darkness and his fingernails on the wall and the way he slowly rises out of the ruins are classic. This is not a ripoff of anything, much less Gremlins. Of all movies, the only correlation I could see is the little demonic creatures that are only seen in the brief moment throughout the film, and they're actually pretty interesting anyway. That's it.
You know what? I always thought that those little subspecies fucks were the entire movie. Like when I would see the poster for Subspecies.
Yeah. But
they're literally like almost pointless. But I wish they were in the movies more. They're pretty cool.
All right. And the last one. It's taken 8 years, but the makers of Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, the toy maker, has finally delivered a creative and imaginal sequel, which lends the Silent Night, Deadly Night series some credibility. Brian Usina first put some life into the series.
Wait, hold on. Go back.
What?
Say that again?
It has taken 8 years, but the makers of Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, the toy maker, has finally delivered a creative and imaginative sequel, which lends the Silent Night, Deadly Night series some credibility. Brian Usina first put some life into the series, Mundane Slayathon, by developing a weird story with the help of Screaming Mad George FX from Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. He carried the blood and bizarre ideas into 5, and along with director Martin Kritzer, added a touch of humor. The acting and budget appear to be the best yet, and the surprise ending is little like nothing I've seen in a horror film in quite a long time. Mickey Rooney is terrific as the abusive father, gentle toy shop owner. Also, the return of several 4 actors helped connect this installment to the previous one. I forgot about that. Aside from the movie's notable lack of snow, if Uza and his associates continue making sequels with this element of originality, they may finally give the Silent Night, Deadly Night series a little respectability. Well, we all know how that ended.
That was the last one.
That was the last one.
Yeah. Huh. I like the Toy Maker, though. I'm not going to lie.
Part 4 is probably the best one. We all know about part 3.
I would say part 1's the best, but that's
sequel-wise.
Nah, 3 and 4
I think 5's
terrible.
better than 3.
Oh, man, 3 is so bad.
Well, it's in the Hall of Pain for a reason, 3.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible.
I would take 2 over both of those, though.
Yeah.
2 has rewatchability to it because it's just so ridiculously funny.
It's so fun. The worst part is watching it after part 1, though. You can't do that because you're just watching part 1 again. For the most part.
Yeah.
Is that all of Deadmail?
And if you want 2 Evil Eyes on VHS, please send $79.95 and $3.85 UPS shipping to Marshall Discount Video Service. So $80 for a tape back in the day. And now we buy them at Goodwill for like 10 cents.
I mean, it is a film by 2 of the top 4 finalists in the best, greatest director of all time.
I can't believe they were still charging $80 in the early 90s. Like, that was, mid-80s, kind of early 80s prices. That's insane.
All right, these are the VHS tapes that were coming out in April 1992. And I'll save the Stepfather stuff for when we get to the film. We have Hider in the House, starring Gary Busey, released by Festron. The fuck, Gary Busey. The Arrival, from the director of Puppet Master, so we know what that is. Eve of Destruction. It. Yep, It, The Terror from Beyond Space.
Nice.
The Green Slime. And
Archive.
And Tales That Witness Madness from Paramount.
Yeah, all have released that Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is Deadmail till we get to Stepfather 3, but that is it for that.
I do have a contest to do for May, which we never did.
Contest drawing? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so these were the people who supported us on Patreon back in May. So we have Sam Edwards at the top with a $30 tier. Jesus, Sam, you're the man. Then we have Derek under that, Mark Letham, Tone Joker, Mikey Fish, my homie, and yours.
Fucking asshole.
Fan of Eli,
Mikey
James
Fish.
Taux, Rob Hankins, Taylor Hyder, Jerry,
The fucker.
Dave. Check out Dave's show, which is does he have a name for it? No, not Dave Z. Dave, Mr. Parka.
Yeah, it's just his weekly. I think it's his.
Yeah,
Dave
I know it's on screamingtoilet.com. I think. Yeah. But Tony, Tony Arroyo, Lawrence Miller IV, Dustin Baker, Carly, Andy Zavala, Glenn Beersford, TJ Franks, Marco from Finland, Jonathan Wilhelm,
Marco,
Blaine Bartlett, Amanda Wingle-Nick, Dub Doubles, Michael Kemp,
Man,
Joe
Dubby
Flesh.
Doubles.
Whoa, holy shit, guys. I didn't even realize this. We had a $2 tier, and I didn't even notice it. $2 tiers is a Ask Us Stuff. So we're going to have to hit up Joey because we missed. Shut up, man. Yeah. But the thing, you can do that for free. You can. But we're not going to guarantee that we're going to answer it. If you want to guarantee that we're going to answer it.
Well, we still need to fucking pick a movie for the Horror Mafia because we fucking.
Oh, okay.
Gotta pick something.
Action Jackman, Matt Wells, and Paul Garcia. Thank you guys, all you guys who supported us in May. That was quite a lot of people.
Wow.
We appreciate it a lot. You guys are awesome. And I just had a contest on the Facebook page too. So if you're not part of that, join the Facebook page. We had, I think Wilhelm won Strangers 2.
Fucking. So. Oh, it was him? Neil didn't win?
No, actually.
Because Neil won on fucking Jason's contest as well, so he.
Yeah, it was close. Neil was winning, but see, that was the argument we had a long time ago when I said the estimates versus the actuals matter. So Sunday, you get the estimates, but because Sunday hasn't passed, that's not the actual number. It's just the estimates. So Neil was winning if it was going by the estimates, but on Monday when the actuals came out, it actually changed the winner. That's why it matters. I've been saying that, and you argued with me. So fuck you, Jeremy. Anyway, let's go ahead and draw a winner. This time, we're giving away a Synapse Blu-ray of Suspiria. Now, it's not new. It has a hole punch in it.
So you mean you got this for free and you're just giving it away?
Yeah, isn't that what we mostly give away? What have you given? Didn't you mostly give away free shit?
Yeah. Okay.
We bought stuff too, so I don't want to hear that bullshit. We give away tons of stuff we pay with our own money as well, So... But when we have extra, I had an extra Suspiria. What am I supposed to do with it? Not give it away?
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Give it to the listeners. I'm sure they're not complaining.
All right.
Where we got it from.
All right. I got it, bro.
Let me ask you, what are you giving away for this month?
I'm going to give away some trauma films.
And where did you get those traumas?
Yeah, where'd you get those traumas? Films I got for free.
Yeah.
Some really acidine ones.
Listen, we've given away more stuff out of our own pocket than any other podcast. I guarantee it. Especially when we're paying hundreds of dollars for shipping back in the day. But anyway, let's hit the randomizer here. And the winner is...
Please don't be Jerry. Please don't be Jerry. Please don't be Jerry. Please don't be Jerry.
The winner is actually Carly.
Oh, thank God.
That's easy. I don't even have to ship it.
Rigged.
Hey, if it wasn't me, I would call the same thing. So
you just want to get fingered, you bitch.
I don't know. I don't know. She might have it. I don't know if she has this or not. But if she has it, I'm sure I'll just give it to someone else. Second place was Dave Parker, who probably also has it. Dave Parker.
Oh, he definitely does.
Because he gets that. So if Carly has it and Dave has it, the third person would have been Dubby.
Oh, thank God.
Which probably has it since it's his favorite film.
Just gonna say that. Just gonna say that.
The fourth person was Lawrence. So, yeah. Anyway, I swear to God, I did not rig that, guys. You guys know me. I would never do that.
Yep.
Especially since it's free and I don't pay for the shipping. There's no point.
Well, you guys, you got to give something to your girlfriend, anyways.
I give her all kind of stuff.
Oh, I bet
like hand jobs.
I bet you do.
Exactly. So yeah, that's May. Next episode, Jeremy will do the June contest since we're a little behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's your stepfather gonna do when he finds out? He's gonna kill me.
Oh, yeah, getting into the featured reviews here on episode 137. And this, like I said off the top of the show, is a Patreon-picked show.
Jonathan Will.
Yes.
Jonathan.
And he picked a Stepfather franchise.
It was voted by the group, though, because he threw out a handful of franchise/trilogies, and this was the highest voted, so...
I wonder why this one got voted.
I don't know. I was very happy with it, though, because I've been wanting to do these films for a long time.
Yeah. Stepfather franchise, man. Well, I guess let's get right into this here. The original Stepfather film from 1987, directed by Joseph Rubin, who also directed a film I really enjoy called Dreamscape. I've always liked that one. He did that one a few years prior, and that's pretty much all I know him for. But yeah. Of course, starring Terry O'Quinn as a stepfather, and the beautiful Jill Schoelen is in this film. I always thought that, man, she should have done a lot more horror films. She did about 4 or 5, and that's about it. Yeah. But I always loved Jill Schoelen, man. She's got a great look to her, man. There's something pretty cool about it. But we'll get into more about her later on. So, quick little synopsis here. After murdering his entire family, a man remarries a widow with a teenage daughter in another town and prepares to do it all over again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, first up, man, I gotta say, The Stepfather has one of the best opening scenes of all time. Of all time.
The shot of him walking down the stairs is fucking amazing, bro.
I've always said this before. It's one of the most haunting images, and just the way it's shot.
It's fucking brutal.
It's so subtle too, and it's like, it's amazing. So the film opens up with Terry Quinn. It's actually, you know, the original poster art is basically the opening scene. He's in the bathroom and he's got a beard and he's changing his identity because he has just massacred his entire family. So we get this scene, and oddly enough, you get to see his penis. I don't know why I have to bring that up, but it's an odd scene where you get to see his penis in like the first shot in the film. It's so weird. But he's doing his transformation because, like I said, he's massacred his entire family. So he nonchalantly walks downstairs and goes through the front door, and you get to see the carnage. And it's like one of those scenes where it's a perfect example of how off-screen kills can work so effectively. Just it makes it so subtle. I love it. But the massacre scene, man, is just so fucking violent and brutal. And the way he walks out so subtly and so nonchalantly is just, it's haunting as shit, man. It's really haunting. He walks up the street in broad daylight with a suitcase and just moves on. But it's the carnage, man.
That,
you can't get it out of your mind, though. Like, I love that scene so much. It's brutal.
It's one of those scenes where it doesn't really show you that much. Like, it's kind of far away shot, and
you
your
just seem like laying on
really,
the ground, right?
Yeah, your imagination really paints a picture.
It does, though, and like, but it's the blood. Like, they went to town with doing that scene up because there is a lot of carnage, man.
This is not a gory movie. Like, that's the most violence we see, pretty much. You know what I mean?
No, I mean when he kills the psychiatrist. I think that is just vicious.
Yeah, you're right. That's pretty violent too. But I think that what I mean is, like, in terms of like pure blood.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a gory film. I think
the whole series is like that, though.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of blood and gore and stuff. I think this film right here.
I hate when people call these movies slasher films.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not slashers.
I think it's not a high body count or anything like that. It's just.
I think why it works so well.
The Stepfather is an underrated villain, though.
Yeah, because it's scary. Because he's an everyday looking person.
Yeah, and he's a manipulator.
These are just some gullible bitches.
I mean, it probably happens, but I think
the whole franchise.
I think
gullible
with this film, man, the kills though are. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them, but when they happen, they're so mean spirited, man. Like when he takes out that psychiatrist and the way he does it, it's just, if you look at his face while he's beating him down with that 2x4. It's just mean. It's brutal. It's vicious. It's violent. And, you know, you don't need a kill every 3 minutes in a film to be effective. And, man, when they have him in this one, it's just fuck. It hits home,
kaboom.
Man. It hits home, man. It really does.
I think that this movie does really well with painting the Stepfather as not just a killer, but, like, it adds a lot of psychological elements to it. With both how he sees the outside world. He's definitely a sociopath.
Well, his transformation in the beginning says a lot about his personality. No, I don't think he does. I think he's just clinically insane. Like, he's just insane, because anybody that's willing to massacre a whole family and change your identity and, you know, not give a fuck. You know, there's something serious.
Not leave a trace or anything like that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, he's smart, right? He's definitely really, really smart. He knows a way to proceed with his life by not having IDs. You know, that's something that's very prevalent.
But here's the thing. Jeremy made some kind of weird argument that I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go.
With the fact, you said something about fingerprints. I don't know if you're talking about the second one or the first one or what you were saying.
Don't you think that if... I don't know. I think
he's talking about the third one with the fingerprints.
Because they do mention the fingerprint thing later on in the film, where they say some. I forget what they say.
I think you're kind of misled a little bit. It's not that the police don't know who this guy is. It's just that they don't know where he is. Like, they're very aware that this guy exists through, like, all of the films, but it's just he's really good at losing the trail. Why is it bullshit?
How does he lose the trail time and time and time again?
because he just disappears.
The thing that actually
changes his identity
in the first film, the brother, there's like a kind of a subplot with the brother who was
is that the brother of the murdered family.
So he's along with a detective, like a kind of like a PI, and he wants to find the stepfather. He wants to find this guy and kill him, kind of thing.
Because the stepfather massacred his sister.
Yeah, so he was the opening scene. Yeah, the opening scene in the film was his sister that got massacred. So now he's after him.
So he actually knows this guy. Like, he's spent time with him. He was fooled by him. Stuff like that.
Yeah, he actually knew who he was. But it's just there's something it always kind of cracks me up about, because they kind of figure it out very, I don't know, almost conveniently in the film a little bit. He's like, well, he's been going somewhere for like the last year, and he's been getting back at this certain time. So he literally has a map out, and he's got it circled on how far he can go and things like that. I just, every time I watch the film, I'm just like, how did he come to that conclusion so so prominently, man? It's like, wow, this is exactly what he's doing.
Only the second film actually has a logical reveal of finding out. Like, the third film's weak with it.
The third film's the worst.
I think the subplot with the brother and like how he actually finds him and everything, the way that thing plays out during this whole film is kind of silly. It's ridiculous.
Because if he knows who it is, why doesn't he go be to the cops and be like, "Oh, this is the guy. He's here." Why?
Because they don't know where he is.
No, he doesn't want.
He knows where he is.
The brother
he doesn't know where he is. He finds out eventually.
No. So why would he go straight there instead of going to the cops and be like, "Oh, this guy is here"?
Well, he doesn't want to go to the cops because he wants to kill him. He doesn't
also,
want
like, jurisdictions and different stuff. It's probably in a different state.
He doesn't want the cops involved because he wants to take matters into his own hands. Yeah, it's basically a revenge plot. Yeah. And that's why he has the PI, because the PIs aren't, connected to the police. So, but the way that whole thing kind of plays out in the film, it's kind of laughable. It's kind of ridiculous that he pretty much figures it out. He's got to be around here, and I'm just like,
I think the last little thing, right, was when he found the magazine with the pages ripped out.
Yeah, and then he goes to the library to to find out what the pages were.
Yeah, but wasn't it like was it a like top 10 like best places to live or something like that? Yeah, you just randomly pick one and it was right.
It was the top 10 comfort areas in America or something like that. Yeah, I know.
By the way, guys, spoilers ahead. This is a spoiler show.
Yes. Yep. Oh, we always forget to say that for the franchises, but yeah, man. I mean, first off, getting away from the subplot, which the way.
I will say, Moods, before we end that subplot section, I actually really dislike the brother character. Yeah, and I think that he does feel kind of
because that's probably like why they didn't try it again.
You deviate from the film and you kind of like it feels like you're actually stepping out of it.
Yeah, it does.
It shouldn't feel like that.
I 100% agree with that, and that's actually
that's why they didn't do it again, though.
That's why I have that's one of the major issues I have with this film, is that I feel like every time they're showing that storyline, it completely takes you right out of it, because there's
and then it ends pointlessly too with him.
Yeah, it's that fucking Feast thing, right? Remember that scene in Feast where that guy's like, "Oh, I'm going to be the hero," and then he gets killed 2 seconds later. It's kind of what happens.
He did nothing. He didn't do anything.
Literally nothing.
He just died.
Yeah, it's just
he got stabbed and he died.
It's almost like they didn't know what to do with the character. Like, can't make him a hero because it's so obvious. That's why they didn't
do it again.
Yeah,
like if it wasn't for a little bit of plot involving the stepdaughter trying to get the information on him, like, that dude is completely unneeded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is, that's one thing that's very prevalent throughout this franchise, is that you have that person that just recognizes that there's something up with this guy.
Yeah.
That's very prevalent in all the films. Like, somebody has a hunch that this dude is not right. And it's essentially what we have here is 4 of the exact same films with different.
Because that's why I was thinking like they all blend together.
Yeah, they're very much the same.
I'm trying to remember the kills in part 2. Like, I was laying in bed last night going, what the fuck happened in part 2 again? Oh, that's the way part 2 ended. It was boy and the mom and the wedding, and now I remember. But it's like I don't remember anything like in between, even though I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
They do change up. The story is generally the same.
Exactly.
But it makes sense because even before the first Stepfather, we get the sense that he's done this many times over.
Yeah.
So he is doing the same thing because that's his whole point in existence.
Yes.
Is to find this perfect family. That's what's going on.
I just don't like that they didn't say at the end of the first film that he was still alive. Like, they made it seem like he was gone. They could have had something.
That multiple times.
I know, but they could have had something with the mom.
They probably
and
didn't
daughter.
expect that it was a.
I know.
That's exact. I think technically in the script he dies, but then the movie was successful enough that they're like, well, fuck, man, we can just have him live through it, man. Like, now
same thing with
he gets arrested and he gets arrested and he gets thrown into the psychiatric ward. And
but the way he escapes in the third one is just
the way he escapes in the second one is fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
it's an amazing scene too. I love that.
He's so manipulative, man.
It's just creative too. It's awesome. Like the way they set up that whole thing. But yeah,
the stepfather himself,
together.
Terry O'Quinn. I know him from Lost. That's where I know him from mostly, but he fits this role so well.
Yeah, he's perfect because he's that average, everyday looking person. It's a great. He doesn't look mean. He doesn't look bad. It's perfect casting.
And you know what? And I'll say this too. And this is prevalent throughout all 4 films. He does a really good job of making you think that he's a good guy. Because, like, even I feel like.
But I think that's most
awesome.
That's most prevalent in the remake. I feel most strongly about that statement in the remake than the other 3.
Well, they even know
I don't really feel it too much. I don't really feel it too much in the third film. But the first 2 I could see it, but it's definitely most prominent in the remake.
Yeah, in the third one, there's even dialogue, or in the fourth one in the remake, there's even dialogue stating like, he's trying so hard all the time. They even kind of throw that out there and shit, and yeah, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, but in this film, I find myself not like necessarily rooting for him, but I almost want him to have this perfect family that he wants. Because it does seem like he tries really hard.
He clearly had a fucked up childhood. That's the one thing. Like, throughout the entire trilogy, if you want to call it, we never learn about his background.
You do a little bit in part 2. You do a little bit. We just
know that a little bit fucked up of a family.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I love about this movie.
I appreciate that too. It reminds me of like The Hitcher with like Ryder or whatever his name is.
That's one thing about this movie that I fucking love is that they don't go into his background at all. They don't give you anything.
And you don't need to in the first film.
Fact. They don't. And they just give you, they kind of lead you, in one direction.
But I think it works. I think it works in a single one film. But once you get into like the sequels, the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth film of the series, I think you're going to have at least have,
well, they do it like
more and more in each film.
I think they give you enough in part 2 to satisfy you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't need to know that much. You know that there was something, he had a lot of dramatic shit that happened to him when he was a child.
Yeah.
And it fucked him up for life, essentially. Family shit, right? So, I mean, that's really all you need to know. I like in this film, they just kind of point in the direction of, he obviously had a fucked up life and, and he's done this many, many times. And that's all you need to know. That's scary. I find that really works. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, Terry O'Quinn's performance in this film is really, really what sells it all. He's fucking brilliant.
I mean, it all sort of gets unraveled whenever, I forget what the reason is, but he goes into the basement and he starts tripping. What was the reason that set him off?
See, that's why all these fucking movies blend together.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it's because I think the daughter is starting to figure out.
Yeah, but why would he flip out? Yeah,
I can't remember
because that's his mentality, and that's like a tick. It's that's a tick that he. Has
wasn't it like
article? And he was like, and he sees an article about the previous his previous self when he murdered the other lady or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he goes into the basement and he starts fucking rambling and flipping out, and
she's down there, right?
She's down there, and oh, dude, it's like such an awkward moment where you just know, like, he fucked up, kind of, because that's not normal at all to do.
Yeah.
You know what's a really weird thing in the film? The very first time he introduces Jill Schoelen as his daughter in the film, he actually calls her Jill. He calls her real name, and they kept it in the film. Her name's Stephanie in the movie.
But maybe his other daughter was named Jill. Do we ever figure out what was her name?
No. I mean, you could chalk it up to that, but I think it was probably a mistake.
It actually, I think it is a mistake. He actually
Is
calls
it on
They
himself.
probably just had a
IMDb?
really good take, and they're like, "Fuck, we gotta."
Let's
keep
look
this.
at IMDb.
Yeah, I'm fucking he totally calls her Jill at one point. I actually laughed and I was like, "What? Her name's not Jill.
Trivia.
The fuck?"
You know, this first film is very simple.
Yes.
There's
Let's
not
see.
a ton.
Want to read some trivia?
Sure.
All right. Jill claimed she was so disturbed from filming the final act, she had recurring nightmares for a week about being chased by Terry O'Quinn. These nightmares occurred as a reenactment of the scene she was filming at a time. Loosely based on the story of John List, a New Jersey man who killed his family in 1971 and was on the run until 1989 when his profile on the television show American Most
Jeremy,
Wanted.
1971 and 1989. People do it all the time.
The first draft of the script featured flashbacks that explained how Jerry Blake became a killer by showing that he was abused as a kid.
I'm really glad that they never
See?
used that.
I'm really glad they didn't do that.
Exactly. That's not
And
that's
you know
not
what?
good.
I'm a fan of learning backstory. I love Halloween for that reason, but I love it for a different reason because I've already seen the other version.
Yes.
This film didn't need that because it's
here it
its
is.
own solo story.
When Jerry mixes up Stephanie's name to the little girl, he says his daughter's name is Jill,
Yeah.
which is the name of the actress who plays Stephanie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, man.
So one thing that I'll say about this is that when you're looking at this character and how, you can kind of chalk it up like to leave it in that because there's that line later like who am I like and we see it throughout the films too that he mistakens and mixes up stuff, so you could leave it in as like just another element of his weird mess ups,
Mm-hmm.
it makes
It
perfect
would
sense.
help
It
if
makes
we knew
perfect
that
sense
Jill
because it
was-
actually plays in because
Yeah.
there's that tick at the end where he's like, "Who am I?"
Yeah,
When he says the wrong name.
That's
and shit.
another recurring theme throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who am
no,
I?
we see it in this film
All of them.
with the Who Am I. In the next film, I'm not sure if we see it in that one, but the third film, you definitely see him call his son, the other son's name, Nicky or whatever.
Yeah.
Forget what it
No, he does it in part two also.
and then he does it in the remake as well with his daughter who died in the accident. So it's something that's prevalent to his character, which it makes sense though, right? If you live all these double lives and of course you're going to do that.
Well, even in the remake, he even says his daughter's name is just Lisa or something like that. When it's or Lisa Michelle, something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He changes it up.
Yeah.
So that's another point where he does it.
Yep, exactly. And whenever Stephanie, okay, so this movie is very simple. It plays out very fast.
They're all simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one I think is the simplest out of all four of them. It has like the least
Even simpler than part 3.
I think this.
Yeah.
I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah. Well, it works so well, and you don't want the sequels to be as simple as the first one. That just doesn't make sense, But as the first
Why
one,
Victor Crowley is.
Gateway film.
well, we talked about that.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Well,
Just
we.
saying.
It's different. It definitely is different.
Oh, so now it's different.
What?
Nothing.
I have no idea what he's referencing. But anyway, so whenever you have this daughter character, though, the 16-year-old, do you feel like, I don't know, do you feel like she's like solving the mystery like faster than any 16-year-old would?
A little
Do you
bit.
feel like an 8-year-old in a wheelchair solves the mystery fucking
I just feel
better
like
later on?
I just feel like every character in this franchise that has this, they're almost like these paranoid characters, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It always seems like they're coming full circle too fast with
I feel
figuring
like
shit
it's
out.
natural to have a suspicion that something ain't up with this guy, because also these people are the movies are taking place over the course of weeks and sometimes months and sometimes a half a year, so they spend a lot more time than what's shown on camera. You're going to pick up weird quirks and inconsistencies and stuff like that, but I mean the actual solving of the crime, where she hears about what does she hear about a guy who's killed people and she wants to see his actual pictures, so she
Yes.
like writes.
She
those
orders
like that.
them.
That seems
she,
way
like,
too convenient, man.
She orders writes the coroner, and she gets the photos back, but he sees them before she does.
Because there's no evidence.
He's always one step ahead, which I like.
Yeah.
It's because there's no evidence to directly link him to that. It's just a hunch that she has. And that's what we're seeing is just a hunch that she has, and it's like ridiculous.
And it's fine to have a hunch that, hey, this guy's probably not a good guy, but it's a completely different leap to expect that he's this killer that you heard of.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's maybe it's not that crazy of a leap if it's this killer you heard of, but it's a crazy leap if it actually is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would make more sense if it wasn't, and it's like, oh yeah, I can understand why somebody would do that, but the chances of it actually playing out that way are ridiculous. But I love how the stepfather is always one step ahead. Like he conveniently checks the mail, but that it lends to his character because he's so suspicious.
Yes.
He's like constantly like looking for things that are wrong and things like that.
It's a funny scene too, actually. Because when he's
it would be pretty scary.
Jill walks up there and she's like, or Jill Sholin, and she's like, "Is there any mail for me?" And he's like, "Yeah," but it's
like all these movies are pretty convenient.
But he's like, "But it's something you shouldn't be reading." Like the way he says like that, right? And he fucking throws her a big, thick Cosmopolitan. I was like,
he plays it off good. He plays it off good.
Pretty fun.
He's lucky that magazine came too.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes his cover up.
Yeah, but and then I like how he swaps it with a photo of not him to throw her off the trail. But again, with all these movies, I love when everything starts to unravel because you really do feel the anxiety and the panic in the character of like, oh, it's all happening again, damn it. And he's going to go murderous.
Yeah, the family let him down again, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, man. An insane
It's a cool idea for a single film.
Yeah.
Yeah, once she and I like the roller coaster. Like first she hates him, then she's disturbed by him, and then she's the picture's proven wrong, then she starts to appreciate him and like him a little bit.
You know what's really disturbing about the film though is that he has this plan where he's like, if he kills her psychiatrist, she'll have to come to him for support.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and to bring him closer, and he does, and he like that scene where he beats the shit out of him, like is just fucking vicious and brutal and shit. And then like after that, she's like,
how brutal that was.
Yeah,
and watching it again, I was like, holy crap.
And then like the next scene, we find out that he's switched the pictures and stuff, and now she's kind of gained this trust, I guess, or whatever, and now they're all buddy. You're just like, that shit worked. Fuck, that's twisted.
His lack of consideration for anybody else is what makes him a sociopath. You know what I mean? Like he literally does not care about the girl, the mom, anybody. And anytime he sees something that gets in his way of his fake life, it's all fake too. He wants to create and manufacture this fake ass life. Yeah, but it's not for the purpose of actually having the perfect life. It's because he sees that's what it's like American Psycho, right? He doesn't actually like the band. He just sees that other people do. So to him, it's what's good. And I think that's the same case in The Stepfather, where he sees the ideal family and he thinks that's what perfection looks like, even though he doesn't care about how it feels. He doesn't care about the feelings you get from having a good family. He just wants it because that's what he visualizes. And it's all this, mental disturbance that's going on with whatever happened to him when he was a child or whatever. But I just love how, he sees that he doesn't want his daughter to like bond with him. He doesn't care. He just wants it to look like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he kills this guy because he got in the way. No, a complete disregard for other people's lives is what makes this character awesome.
Yeah, it's it's pretty nasty.
Crazy.
I always thought
it's
that, like,
crazy, dude.
Every time I'm watching that film, though, it's like, okay, the psychiatrist goes there, to that place, obviously prying a little bit. And, it is very risky for Terry O'Quinn, the stepfather, to kill him because he doesn't know that the psychiatrist hasn't told anybody he's going to be there, right? So if he goes there, right, and doesn't go back to work, like, obviously there's a direct link there because he literally was working, like he was the realtor or whatever. So there's a direct link to him.
What's up with these mofos hiring people without a fucking realtor license or a doctoral for being a psychiatrist? Like, what the fuck's going on with this?
We don't know that. For one, in this situation, we don't know that he doesn't. Right? He could have done that years ago. But we also don't know how he faked it, how he got. But like in the psychiatrist thing. Well, the only people that think that he's a psychiatrist are
the
neighbors,
local ladies.
So.
Yeah,
but he like fucking opens a practice and shit. It looks like
that's one thing.
A local practice. I mean,
that's one thing that they do touch on in the remake. Actually, a little bit is the fact they push it with his social security number and filling out the forms so he doesn't have to pay. Yeah,
and I think it was time to finally do that. You know. That's one thing that the remake does do well. But it's so obvious though. Like if you're an employer and you're already kind of suspicious of this guy at this point, you're like, hey, fill out this forms, so we can actually pay you for real, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then he quits just out of the blue. Like obviously the connection is there. Like you're quitting because you don't want to feel you're hiding something. It's so blatantly obvious, right? Like because he had a good thing going for him. He was making sales. People liked him. There was no problems at work and stuff. I don't know. It's just now the
easy to figure out.
The one thing that is you mentioned with the way that he kind of leaves a trail all the time. I think that is probably why he doesn't succeed in doing this. Because he isn't perfect. He makes mistakes,
and he really sucks at fighting back. Like,
he doesn't even try. He just fucking gets beaten to death.
Yeah.
He doesn't put up a fight. Nobody in these films put up a fight.
Yeah, it's just fuck. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
if he had a 2x4, he would have fucking killed his whole family. But yeah, the original Stepfather, very engaging movie. Like you're into it right away. And it keeps you enthralled and into the movie all the way up until the end.
Yeah, it's got a really good pace to the film. It doesn't fuck around with backstory, unnecessary shit. The only major flaw it has is the subplot with the brother who's trying to get revenge because it literally goes nowhere. It's kind of fucking stupid. If that wasn't
in there, you're talking about a movie that's 80 minutes long.
Yeah.
And would have just been perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Not perfect as in like a 10 out of 10, but I'm saying like the ideal pacing, running time, content.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I love the scenes where he just like goes full berserk and doesn't hold back, and other people are like, what the hell? Like when he finds the girl like kissing his boyfriend and stuff and accuses him of rape and shit. Like it's like, wow, like you get to see these little glimpses of
the funniest moment in the entire franchise when he opens up the door and he's like, this little punk raped my daughter. It's so over the top because that's so not what happened. It's also very interesting that mentally he doesn't just move on when things fall apart. It's like a process. He must kill the people that he set up the life with because they didn't work out, and so therefore they're not up to live.
You can't just run away.
Yeah, it's but he plans it out every time. He just doesn't plan on leaving. He has to kill the people and then leave.
Yeah, it's when he quits his job, shit's gonna hit the fan.
Like, because he could easily just bounce out once things get rough, but for whatever reason, I always thought like he can't.
He's so fucking smart and stuff, and I think it's in this one where he calls himself Hodge, but she call his work, right? Like he quits his job.
No, that's in the remake.
Well, no, that happens
in the remake.
I know, but it happens in this one too. It's the same. Yeah.
See, they all fucking blend together, bro.
So, they do blend together.
Like, so he quits his job and he hasn't been there for like 8 and then she calls him on it. She fucking calls him on it, right? And he's like, "Oh shit, yeah, I got this new, front girl, and she fucked up, blah blah blah," and but like. For somebody that's kind of planned out everything and shit, wouldn't you ever think that maybe she might actually call one day to work?
Well, here's the thing, right?
Kind of bust you like that. That's the tough one.
Like, I think that when everything's going well, he's very calculated. Mm-hmm. But once things start to come unraveling, once they start to unravel, that's when he loses track of what's important and setting up, fail safes and all this stuff because he's in a panic and he's anxious.
I always
that's what most people do when they're in a panic.
I always saw it as an excuse, right? Because at this point, he's quit his job. He knows what he's leaning towards. He's going to kill his family. And if she ever, kind of calls him on shit, it's just more of a reason to do it right then and now. Right? And that's essentially what happens. The second that she kind of calls him out, he fucking mentally snaps, and that's when it happens, right?
He makes mistakes.
Right? It just fucking happens. And so it's almost like in his mind, it's a psychological thing. It's like, if she does call me on it, I guess that's when game over for that bitch is, So
time to cancel the subscription.
That's the way I kind of saw it, so
but,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the end scene's pretty good. You have like this.
He's
this
dead.
battle.
That's some bullshit.
I agree. He's dead.
It is good. And actually, well, since we're into the third act here, there's a scene where, Jill Schoelen's playing a 16-year-old in the film. She's actually 23 in real life, and which I talked about on the top of the show.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where she gets into the shower and you get to see her ass and her tits and stuff, and
is it morally wrong?
Is it morally wrong? Because she's technically of age, we know that, but she's playing a 16-year-old. It's this like awkward argument, right? Because in the film, like she's 16.
We see her as 16.
Yeah, like that's what she is. She's 16 years old to us, and we're seeing her naked. It's such a fucking weird thing. Like,
I don't know.
How do you separate yourself? I mean, it's
they do that in The Girl Who Lives Down the Lane too.
You see it in films all the time. This is why they cast older, so they can do things like this, right? Obviously, a 16-year-old wouldn't be able to show it, unless it's 76,
Here's the reason why it doesn't matter. Because she doesn't look 16.
No. The casting in this film is so bizarre. Like I said before, like the age differences between the real members of the cast, like I said, Joel Schillen's 23, and Terry O'Quinn's like 35 or 36. It's so fucking weird, and the mom is like 39 in real life.
Well, that would make them 15 and 16, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's very... very odd, but prevalent in films like this to cast like that. But yeah, man. But at least we got. I mean, honestly, dude, I kind of put it on the back burner, and I'm like, I got to see Jill Schoelen's titties.
Yeah, they're pretty nice too.
It's okay. I always thought that she was super hot, and I wish she had done more films.
She's got a little bit of a hotter Angela look to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ratings?
Sure.
Jeremy, go.
8 out of 10.
JP.
Yeah, I kind of debated on my rating. I've watched and rated this film in the past. And this is probably... I seen it when I was a kid. Kind of forgot about it. Seen it again when I bought the DVD a couple years ago. Really, really enjoyed it. Still enjoy it just as much. I don't think I like it more or less. Probably about the same as I always have. Some movies you watch and you're like, wow, I like that even more. But I think I still just feel the same about this one. So I'm not going to change my rating. Coming in at an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm also at the exact same rating, 8 out of 10. Yeah, dude, I think that the subplot is a big no-no in the film, and I think that's what really kind of hurts my rating. I think without that, I think it's probably a 9, I think it's scary enough. It's got some great imagery. The acting's brilliant in the film. We kind of mentioned the score, but the score is really good in the film too. There's just a lot of really good things going for this film. It's a scary idea. It's a scary idea because we grew up watching these masked killers and shit, and this is a everyday type person. That's scary to me, and that's why I find it works so well. So, yeah, I actually thought JP, you're going to come in higher on this one.
No, I've always liked The Stepfather, but I mean, like, it's never been like one of my favorite movies or anything. Actually, I'm curious. Have you've seen all 4 of these moods?
Yes. Oh no, I'd never seen part 3 before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the first
Jeremy?
time I watched.
No, never. Not any of them.
I'd seen the remake once. I watched the remake when it first came out on DVD when I was working at the airport. This girl I had worked with, she had rented it and brought it to work, and she loved it. She loved the remake, and I was like, that was fucking shit. Because I actually remember when the remake came out, I had just rewatched The Stepfather, not even knowing about the remake at all. Like, it was weird. It just kind of spaced on it, whatever, and I'd watched it like 2 or 3 weeks before, so it was very fresh in my mind. And I watched the remake, and I was like, ugh, what the fuck? So,
I had actually seen 3 of the 4 before. The first one I'd seen a bunch, seen it when I was a kid too. The second one I didn't think I had seen, but I had seen when I was a kid. And then the third one I'd also seen when I was a kid on TV. So I hadn't seen the remake though.
No, don't let me stop you. Anyway, I think it's time I cracked open this bottle.
Room for Daddy, huh? Daddy's here, huh? Every time I get something going on, turn it all apart! What?
Well, moving along here, man, into 2 years later, 1989, with Stepfather 2, directed by Jeff Burr. And Jeff Burr's an interesting cat because he is known for directing...
your favorite Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, my favorite. He's known for directing, sequels in franchises, right? Like, he started his career, he directed From a Whisper to a Scream, which is pretty cool. Then he, Stepfather 2. Then he went on to do Leatherface, TCM 3. Then he went on to do Pumpkinhead Part 2, Puppet Master 4 and 5. Like, this is just, he's all over the map in these franchises with these random sequels and shit. And he directed Night of the Scarecrow, which I really enjoy that film. That's a fun one from the 90s. But yeah, very odd.
Night of the Scarecrow or Dark Knight, Jeremy?
Night of the Scarecrow. Olive released it.
Yeah.
Really?
So
I've never seen it.
So he has a very odd filmography, in my opinion. I don't think I've seen anything after Night of the Scarecrow. That movie came out in 95, and he's done a bunch of movies since. I don't think I've seen one of them. It's very odd.
Yeah, they've probably got worse with... Like, I'm sure Alien Tornado is not great.
It just sounds horrible. I know...
or Frankenstein and the Werewolf Reborn.
Yeah.
I know our buddy Steve Ferrandino. He's actually good friends with Jeff Burr. So, kind of cool thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, so quick little synopsis here. After escaping the insane asylum in which he was incarcerated, the stepfather impersonates a marriage counselor and manages to win over a patient and her young son.
Want some trivia?
Trivia?
Already?
Sure. Okay.
I thought we always do trivia after the synopsis.
I thought we never did, but...
Yeah, I didn't realize we did either. But we can start. It's fun.
Okay.
When do we usually do it?
Usually after we've talked about the movie for half an hour.
Okay.
Sometimes at the end.
All right, let's do it at the end then.
Okay. So, first of all, I gotta just shout out Meg Foster and her eyes.
Oh, my
Jesus.
God.
They're like that in every fucking movie, bro.
I know.
What is it? Are those her natural eyes? Because those shits are insanely cool. Like, she has cool eyes.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's pretty insane, dude.
They are. Like, they're so fucking catchy. Like, they're beautiful.
Scary. Like, I
think her eyes are beautiful.
She's like very distinguished looking.
You know, the problem
she's
is
not like hot.
With Meg Foster, man, she did not age well. Oh, I will throw that. She looks bad.
I was Google imaging her.
Oh, she looks bad.
She always looked bad to me, though. I never found her attractive.
I never found her. Her eyes, she's definitely, can look at her, but.
I mean, I know her from They Live mostly,
Yeah.
That's where I remember seeing her from mostly, but in horror, but yeah.
So, yeah.
But we also got another cool cat up in here, Miss Carolyn Williams.
Yeah. Of course, from TCM 2 fame. Terry
and
O'Quinn,
Leprechaun
of course.
3, the best one.
Yes, the Vegas one. Terry O'Quinn returns, of course, as a stepfather.
Which actually completely threw me off guard. I had always thought, and I'd seen this one when I was a kid, but I didn't remember actors and stuff. I'd always thought that he only did the first one. I had no idea he did the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so when I seen his name pop up, I was like, holy shit.
And yeah, so Meg Foster plays the love interest of Terry O'Quinn / Jerry Blake, Gene Clifford / the stepfather. And then we also have the little boy in this film is actually played by Jonathan Brandis. He's the guy from It, who went on to kill himself, actually.
Oh, shit. Which character is he?
He's the young boy. He's the son of Meg Foster in the film.
No, I mean in It.
In It, you dumbass.
Oh, he's the guy with the list, or not, the stutter.
Bill.
He's
the
Bill.
inhaler guy?
He's Bill.
Holy shit.
No, the main guy.
Yeah.
So he plays Bill 2 years later. That's awesome.
Yes.
I like Bill.
Yes.
Sad he killed himself.
Yeah.
No shit, JP. Usually is when somebody kills themselves.
Yeah, not when Hitler did it.
Well,
Yeah, I can actually,
usually, but not always.
I
Damn
can
it!
actually kind of relate to that, man. My cousin committed suicide like 2 weeks ago.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, way to bring down the show, but yeah, it was pretty sad. I didn't.
Sorry to hear that.
I don't think I mentioned it to you guys, but
No.
yeah, it was pretty fucking sad, man. But anyways, on a happier note,
Let's talk about a dad killing his kids.
yeah, Stepfather 2. This one actually starts out with a little bit of flashbacks from the first one, more of the end of the film, kind of gives you that. Are you guys a fan of that? I've always been indifferent to that. Sometimes I don't mind when they start off a film with flashbacks of the first one.
Well, I'll tell you this. I
or the
hate it
previous
every
film.
time they do it when we watch these movies for review. Every time they do it, I hate that.
Yeah.
It's not, these movies, like, you got to think back, though. I mean, this is why you can do sequels years later, guys. This is why, because you can just sum it up again if you need to. But
Exactly.
no, like, I mean,
never been
I've
made
come
anyway.
to love it in Friday the 13th a little bit.
But it
But
is
that's just
tedious.
because it's nostalgic for
It
me.
is tedious though. Like when you're marathoning the films, you get this recap of the film you just finished 5 minutes before. It's like,
Yeah.
do I need to see that?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of indifferent on that. It's, I guess it's different if, you're watching the film years later or something like that and spaced out, but serves a
I will
point.
say this
Serves a
right
point.
now. This is my favorite Stepfather.
It's the same fucking movie. It's no different, bro.
Yeah,
The
okay.
reason-
Besides the
why.
way that he breaks out, it's the same fucking thing.
Okay,
So-
yeah. At its core, any sequel is the same as the last, right?
Yeah, but this one really is, though.
Well, I think they add a lot of cool stuff in this one, right? Like, I like the addition of the younger kid instead of the 16-year-old daughter. That switches it up a little bit, right? I like the introduction of the what would you call it? The real father.
Yeah, you kind of throw that variable into the mix, right?
Yeah, that's not in the original, you know. I like the reveals on how they find out that he's not who says he is with Carolyn Williams.
God, the reveal of whose identity he took in this film.
black
Yes,
person.
It was the
Seriously
greatest. I was like,
fucking-
oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, but don't you?
But that's
don't
unlike
you,
him, though.
Can't you admit
See,
that
I
it's
don't
the wrong
see
color?
him doing that. I don't
Doing
see
what?
him doing because he's such a particular person. Like, he fucking does everything for a reason.
But you can also
I'm
chalk it up to
surprised
the
he
fact,
didn't
Jeremy.
like realize that he didn't know who
You
identity
could
he
chalk
was
it up to
taking,
the fact,
because
though.
that's not like that kind of person that he would be.
But do
I
you think
get
he
that.
actually researches who he makes his identity?
Maybe
How do you
he
do
does
that
everything.
in
He does-
1989?
Well, no,
does
they
everything
show
out.
it in the film. They showed in the film. He sees. I think he just sees the name or some
An
shit like that.
obituary.
Yeah,
This
and then
is
he
like
just
an
kind of
obituary.
he literally just picks a name like that. So he did no research technically. But then again, he's insane.
But how do you research in 1989?
But he's also convinced that he is smarter than everyone else, and they're not going to figure out whose identity he actually
Yeah,
took.
and
right?
let's not forget he
So-
makes tons of mistakes in the first film too.
Yes.
that one doesn't seem that crazy of a mistake,
no.
honestly.
But
Like,
to be
that seems
honest,
like
to be
something
honest
you couldn't
though,
account for.
I would honestly, if I was going to steal someone's identity, I would probably do a little bit of research, make sure they're kind of the same
Okay,
race as
how
me.
do you do the research in 1989?
Well, it seemed like he
Card
was a
catalogs,
bigger-
man.
Yeah.
Card catalogs.
I don't think he really had time to do that. But
Yeah,
let's
well,
just say this.
exactly. So he makes this very, very cool escape.
But
from
he had
the
enough
insane
time to go
asylum.
on a fucking boat and throw his shit over the fucking side.
Well, he had to get off the island, kind of thing. But I love his escape though. The way it all plays out and shit, it's really cool, man. He builds this fucking house and then
He totally got this psychiatrist tricked as fuck.
the
man.
whole theatrics with smashing the thing and oh man, it's just a really cool scene.
Yeah.
I really enjoy like how he fucks with this shrink
He
so
plays
bad,
him so hard.
plays him so hard, and he just kind of walks. I mean, technically,
Walks
it's probably pretty hard to do, but
Yeah,
he does,
very unrealistic.
But he does walk out in the security guard stuff. So I mean,
But nobody looked at
gotta
his face.
Disconnect yourself a little bit. It's still pretty damn cool what he does. I'll admit
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Which, yeah. So of course he busts out of there and he moves into the neighborhood, right?
Yep, and then he opens up a practice without a medical license, and
Yeah,
people start to
that's-
come.
Oh, he tells his neighbors that he's a psychiatrist.
Yes.
and they roll
But
over
he's
that.
still fucking They're not at his house. They're in an office.
No,
that's his house.
No, they're in his house. Yeah, so he moves into this neighborhood, and
he's just like, "Come on over. I'll give you an evaluation." You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I don't think these people would be like, "Can I see your proof of medical schooling?" You know what I mean? Like, that makes no. Nobody
I didn't
would
know
do
it
that.
was his house. I didn't know it was his house.
it completely makes sense, though. I mean, if you're willing to just give people kind of
You
a
don't
free
remember
show.
the scene when he's looking out the window across the street where the chick is, and he's like sees her husband or whatever,
Yeah.
ex-husband roll in, and he freaks all out.
Yeah.
Thought that was his house. You thought that was his office?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
You
You
paying
don't have to
attention?
make me look. You don't
I mean-
yes, I paid attention.
put it this way, Jeremy. I mean,
They all fucking blend together, JP.
if people are
I
willing
agree.
to get free, kind of psychiatric readings or whatever, people are going to go for that shit because it's expensive as fuck, right? So this guy rolls into the town and he's offering these free sittings. Of course, they're going to fucking take him up. I mean,
Yeah,
why
or
not?
even discounted sittings. We
Why
don't
not?
even know.
Why not? Right?
Now, the big question is, how does he afford rent in this house? Right? Where did he get where did he get money for this?
yeah,
Because
but
what, he broke out
It's a
and-
plot hole. It's definitely a plot hole because he doesn't have any money.
Yeah,
Because
he
he
broke
doesn't
out
have
and that was it.
he doesn't have bank accounts because he has no IDs and shit. You can't open up an account without IDs. So he has. We know that, and it's stressed in the other throughout the franchise that
It's not like he has
pays in cash
fucking
for
buried
everything.
treasure somewhere.
He
You know,
pays-
He might. We don't know that he doesn't, but they don't show us. So
In
that's
the remake,
unfortunate.
they really stress that, like how much he pays in cash, and it's kind
yeah,
of
because he doesn't have a card or anything.
exactly right. So it's kind of the thing. But yeah, where do you get the cash? Exactly.
Maybe he killed a few people and stole a deposit on the way.
because he
a
moves
little
into
bit
That's
Pitched.
unfortunate that they don't show you though. But I'm just saying that
Yeah.
it's a plot hole because they
But
don't show you. They probably
they
could have
do
explained-
need to show that because I mean the neighborhood that he's living in is definitely not low rent.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
you're like, even if the first month's rent, you're still gonna have to put it down a deposit.
Oh, exactly. A lot of places first and last month and security to put whatever. It's a lot of money up front. So
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like this one. I like I like the setting to this one. But one thing that I forgot to mention.
I don't like the
first film,
boys over the girls.
The first film is set on Thanksgiving partially, which nobody ever brings up as a Thanksgiving watch. So
that's right.
just
that is right.
throw that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the setting to this one. I actually like Meg Foster quite a bit as his love interest.
What do you mean by you like the
I
setting
love
of the
Carolyn
film?
Williams.
What do you like about
like
the-
just the like it feels
It's
more
the
suburban than the first one did.
Okay.
Even though there's some there, it feels like the neighborhood's a little like closer knit because you're seeing all these different people that are in the neighborhood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like the setting, the houses.
It definitely
how
has
she's
a
next
warm
door.
feeling to it because all the people in the neighborhood seem to know and kind of associate with each other. I think that's kind of there's definitely a lot more characters in it feels just a tiny bit bigger. With a warm
and
feel.
I like the wooing of because we didn't see that in the first one. We didn't see the process of him wooing the woman. This film and the next one, we actually do see that process, so it adds something new.
Some
because,
colorful bitches.
well, I mean
all the films are pretty
he's very likable, man. He really is.
But again, another theme throughout all these films is you got the one suspicious friend or person, and then in this film it's Caroline Williams. She's kind of stressing to Meg Foster a little bit, which is another thing about them moving too fast. Like even in the remake, I've known this guy for 6 months. I'm getting married. It's a common theme throughout all the films and stuff. But there's this one really great scene in this film where Caroline Williams is obviously a little bit. She's got a hunch there's something up with this dude, and she kind of not really breaks into his house, but she goes into his house. He's doing whatever, and she sees the notebook that he was supposedly taking notes on all the women, even after she had asked him. Are you writing this stuff down? And he's like, oh yeah,
And
I
he's
got you.
like, I got it all in the notebook.
I got it all in the
He's like,
notebook.
are you listening to me?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's all in here.
All in the
And points
notebook.
it-
And there's this great scene where she goes into his house. He's downstairs and she sees the notebook sitting there, so she's gonna check it out. She opens it up and every page is blank. It's fucking so haunting. It's a great scene. I love that, which kind of confirms her suspicions that there's something wrong with this guy. There's something up with this dude, and yeah, it's probably my favorite scene in the film. Actually, I love it.
Yeah, and I love that they kind of show that he doesn't change much. He still goes and vents in the basement.
Yeah,
it's
loses it.
I'm actually in all three of these films, the continuity is actually pretty well done when I expected there to be next to none. So even in this one, it shows his scar.
Yep.
From where he got stabbed in the fucking heart.
Which makes no sense.
I don't understand how he's fucking alive.
It's movie. Like you either roll with it from the beginning or you shut the movie off, because
I would have shut it off if
it doesn't
have watched any other of the sequels, to be honest with you.
But
it should have just been a single
how
film.
Movies go, right? Like, how the fuck did Chucky come back a bunch? You know what I mean? It's just the way they go, dude. That's horror. That's
maybe I just wasn't in love with these as much as you were.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this one, and so she that's the first indication that something's up with this guy. She's the mail lady, so it actually makes sense that she'll be able to look through the mail, and that's when she sees that there's a letter addressed to the real Gene Clifford. Which, dude, it might not make the most sense that they would have found this guy's new address, the school or whatever, but at the same time, they do address it, and he says like, "Oh, they'll find you anywhere" or something like that. So we're aware that it's unlikely, and they just tried to acknowledge it at least.
Kind of played off as a little bit of a joke, right?
I appreciate that, because that means a lot more to me than just ignoring it. It makes me more willing to accept it. And then when she actually pulls out dude, that's one of the best scenes. That's the best. That might be my favorite scene in all four of these movies. It's just because I totally forgot that's what happened. And I'm like, oh shit, he's black. They're all black. It's a whole black school. That can't be him.
Dude, but it's not even that it's a black school. It's a picture of the basketball team that is all black. It's so fucking funny, man.
Dude, it's so great. It's so great.
Yeah.
And one thing that I love about this one, I feel like this is the only one that really truly has a great reveal for people putting it together. Besides that thing, the black, because he kills her, you know what I mean? So she can't let everybody else know. But then he gets caught again with the old Camptown Races song.
Oh, I thought that was
genius.
The wine too, though. The same bottle of wine.
Yeah, the same bottle of wine, but also
he tends to fuck up a lot in this film, actually.
The moment when he kills her, walks out, and is singing the Camptown Races song, and then the neighbor heard him singing that, and then
he's blind.
And then the son sing, like, oh, dude, it's so cool. I like.
I didn't pay attention, asshole. You didn't bring up the wine bottle. I did.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah, because Carol,
really
she figures
care
that
about these movies.
Yeah, she figures it out. She's like, where'd you get that bottle of wine? There's something up there. There's something up there.
Yep. And it kind of wraps up.
He dies in the same way.
So there's one scene. There's one scene actually right after he breaks out of the psychiatric hospital. There's a scene where they show a news report on TV, and this always bugged me.
When he's in the hotel.
Yeah, well, this always bugged me about that scene, because when you're talking about somebody that has escaped, or America's Most Wanted, whatever.
Another thing, where the fuck did he get money for room service?
I think he had someone's.
He had
wallet. He had someone's credit card.
Probably
or I don't know what. I don't know.
The guy he killed. He dresses up. He takes his clothes.
Exactly.
He had a wallet in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, in the car. But anyways, he's this news broadcast of this escaped, killer. Anyways, they're talking about his crimes and shit, but they don't show a picture of him on TV. I'm like, what?
Do they not? I can't remember.
No, they don't. It's something I have noted, and it's always bugged me. I'm like, so when you're watching America's Most Wanted, what would be the point of not showing a picture of the criminal that you're trying to catch?
They do on the remake.
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird, because they do in all the other
They do, yes.
Too.
And in this particular scene, they don't show a picture, and I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid.
Did they shut the TV off before they got to the picture?
No, it goes through the whole thing, and then that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that is weird. That's just
weird.
a mess up from the production.
Yeah, it's
and like
super silly because you're not going to have a broadcast and not show a picture of the person.
Well, there's also no reason why they wouldn't. Like in terms of like, it's not going to hurt the film if they actually show the picture, right? It's not like there's no excuse for not doing it, really. Yeah, like I could see if it was like that they didn't want to reveal who the killer was or something, but in this film, there's no point to do that.
I don't know what it was. I couldn't get past it. It kept bugging me while I was watching this film.
Good
like,
point.
that makes no fucking sense. Why they would do that? So, I don't know. Just something I would note in there. But yeah, you know, I think the viciousness and the scariness of the first one is not. I mean, the kills in this one are okay. They're still a little bit hard and stuff, but they're not that creative and inventive and stuff like that. I know it's not about the kills, but in the first one, they are so effective, right? Like the 2x4 kill is just
because
brutal.
it should have been a one thing and done.
Well, I disagree because I really like this film.
Yeah. I just feel like it felt just as good as a standalone series. I don't understand why they had to keep making fucking 3 sequels just because it made money. I mean, I understand every franchise does that, but I just feel like this one, it doesn't work as that formula.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, yeah, the story of being alive makes no sense, and you're dead in the water unless you. But here's the other option: is you can make another Stepfather film with a different guy.
Sure, that would but at least try and do something different. I mean, it's. I don't know.
But they did do different things, though. I just
feel like it's just such a simple, straightforward narrative that it's hard to sequelize.
See, and you're right. It is hard to sequelize. But here's my thing with sequels, right? People complain if they're too much the same. People complain if they're nothing like the original. So I feel like people are never happy with sequels.
I don't feel like that with that, though. I just feel like they should have just never made one. But you said it was
too much the same.
This
they
one
just never made.
It's essentially all 4 films are the exact same. This one, what it does, it kind of pokes at his past a tiny bit. It's enough. For me, it's enough to warrant that it's kind of falls in between both of what you're saying. It's very much like the original, and it's not too far off. And I don't know, man. I
want my sequels to be familiar yet slightly different. That's what I want in a sequel.
I think for stuff like this to be, you really have to disconnect yourself from the story.
Would Norman Bates have ever got out of the psychiatric hospital in Psycho after killing fucking 4 people? No. Never.
This bitch did.
But what I'm saying, well, he escaped. Norman Bates was let out. But I'm saying sequels, horror movies usually end with the villain dying. So therefore, there's no point to do sequels ever. But what the fuck, man? They're fun. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief a little bit if it gives me.
And that's what they did in this one too, man. They totally killed him off in the end again.
Yep.
Right.
I know.
Right.
I just don't
and they
care.
just bring him back. I mean, obviously, the setup in part 3. They had to do what they had to do with the facial reconstructive surgery. Because Terry O'Quinn was not returning, so they probably decided that after. He's like, he's not doing the third one, so we need to come up with a plan.
They definitely did not plan to do a third one when this one was made.
No, I think it was the plan.
Just like they didn't plan to do a second one when the first one was made.
But
that's why I always say leave your endings open ended, so you never know.
They 100%. We're planning on not making one after the third one because there's no question he's dead.
They pulled a Victor Crowley.
That's when you remake it.
Yeah, you have no option.
It's a fucking Victor Crowley. Seriously. It's just a wood chipper instead of a fucking airplane engine.
You know what? I seen Chucky come back from worse.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's nothing. Wood chipper and fucking jet engines.
Introduce a young blonde and have her do voodoo. Stepfather resurrected. Not a young, I should say.
Yeah.
Want to do trivia?
Yeah, sure. Let's with some trib.
All right. The makers of the film originally had Kay Lenz and Susan Hubley in mind for the roles of Carol. Susan Hubley.
Yeah, who either of those people are.
Kay Lenz. Let's see who she is. She was in House. She played Sandy Sinclair in House.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. She was in ER and JAG. And Susan Hubley. She was in Escape from New York. Some other stuff. Okay. Meg Foster almost wasn't cast because of her striking light blue eyes.
Fuck you. That's why you cast her, damn it.
What the fuck? Precisely why you cast her.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Several additional moments of gore were filmed after principal shooting on the movie had wrapped. That is because the Weinsteins, after a test screening of the film, complained about the lack of blood and demanded reshoots. Jeff Burr refused, and another director was hired to do the reshoots. In an interview, Burr commented they cut a little bit of the film out and they added some badly done blood effects. Badly done because Terry O'Quinn refused to do it. Really, they were meaningless, so that was irritating.
Huh. I'll be damned.
Brian Austin Green was originally up for the role of Todd. He was, of course, in Beverly Hills 90210.
That's awesome.
Wait, how did the Weinsteins made this movie?
I guess so.
ITC Entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know what the connection is there. I was thinking the same thing.
Was this before Dimension, obviously?
Carol had a daughter and a dog in an earlier draft of the script. The film was originally intended as a made-for-video release. Jeff Burr was contacted to direct the movie before the script was even written. This film was made in 4 months, and yeah, it's just stupid shit. And Max Reed was also considered as the director for this movie, and he directed Wild Thing. That's about it. So that's Stepfather 2 trivia. That's it. Ratings.
All right. I guess I'm up first. I love Stepfather 2. I think this one, the first one is the better movie. It's all around a better contained story. It's not as ridiculous, even though there are ridiculous things in it, which we did point out, the inconsistencies and stuff like that. The Stepfather 2 is more of the same, but I think it's a funner movie. I really do. If I'm gonna watch one just for fun, I'm gonna watch Stepfather 2 over Stepfather 1. First one's a lot more serious in tone, it feels like. I like this one. I really like Carolyn Williams. I think I have no idea why she was not casted more in horror films throughout the 80s and 90s. Like, she's awesome. And Meg Foster's good. Terry O'Quinn is good, and definitely adds like a new layer to the character too, with more history and stuff like that, and the little bit of backstory we get. I'm coming in at the exact same rating, although the first one is better. It's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
6.5 out of 10.
You skipped moods.
That's okay. That's his thing. Yeah, man. I used to prefer this one over the original one, but rewatching them actually kind of swayed me. There was just certain things about this one, like with the picture, there was just other things and stuff that weren't fully doing it for me. I think that's the problem, is when you watch these films when you're critiquing them, is that you notice shit like that and tends to bug you a little bit more. In this case, it actually did. I still really enjoy this film. I think it's fun. It's more or less the same as the first film, but I find the first one, his intention is to be like, super serious and scary, and I find it just like that opening scene, everything about the first one I find to be scary. It's just a scary idea to me.
That opening scene's probably the best scene in all 4 movies,
yes,
though, which is kind of a little sucky that's the best scene. It's the first 10 seconds.
I know, right? I know.
But it is so powerful that you can't not acknowledge it.
But, Terry O'Quinn does a great job, again, reprising his role as a stepfather, and he's really the reason to watch these 2 films for his performance solely. It's just, he sells it so well. He does a great job. In fact, everyone does a great job in this film. I think Meg Foster was actually pretty good in it. Even Jonathan Brandis did a good job. I think he's better in this film than he was in It, with his shitty-ass fucking kind of stutter that he has.
Dude, his stutter's way better than the remake It's. I don't even want to fucking hear it. That shit is fake as fucking.
It's inconsistent.
Did you say stutter? Are we talking about the image in the
not blurry
remake?
What? How is that even fucking related? Jesus Christ, Jeremy. Get the dildo out your ass. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I think he does a pretty good job.
Somebody can't take a joke.
Oh, fuck. Fuck you, JB!
That shit was bullshit. I was on time. Fuck that asshole.
7.5 out of 10. That's what I'm coming in.
I figured that's where you'd be at.
Yeah. It's pretty much on par. You know, it's just a few things here and there and stuff. And, you know, it's still a fun film. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, like, okay, so people often ask me, or, you know, look at me and say, like, you know, fun factor, why don't you factor that in?
I'm rating these on a critiquing level and not on a personal level. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always going to be your personal critique, though, you know, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I just don't like these movies.
I do factor fun into it, like I just did with the Stepfather 2. But I just don't feel like it heavily changes my rating. Like, if I was rating pure on only quality, it would probably be a 7.5. Mm-hmm. But that little bit of fun factor bumped it up to an 8.
So, Jen, how you like you don't even like the first one at all? Like you don't find anything redeemable about it, but you still give it an 8 though?
Yeah, I think the fact that it's at least somewhat, you know, it's the first time that we see the story, so at least it's an original enough idea that I wasn't totally completely zoned out and not caring about anything that was going on. Mm-hmm. I just feel like as the sequels went on, especially this third one and the remake, it's like I just don't want to watch this story anymore. Like I'm done. Like I was done after the first movie. Like it's fine. It is what it is. I really don't want to see it again. And I had to watch 3 other movies. Maybe it's just a personal feeling that I just didn't really like care for the franchise.
Like that a lot, though. You're not one that wants to see the same thing over and over again ever. Yeah. Like I feel like if we watch that, when we do the Friday the 13th films eventually, you're literally going to say that 100 times because those movies are fucking exactly the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they are, like the first 6 are so similar, and you know the 7th one adds a whole new level, and then they kind of try different things.
Which one is it? The one that's not Jason? Isn't that 5? Isn't that different?
Not really. It's the same fucking movie.
It is. It's just the reveal.
Just different.
Yeah, the ending.
Literally, that's what my argument always was. Why it's awesome, because it's the fucking same thing. It's just you have a weird ending.
It's like part 1.
You're full of crap.
Silence is golden, Mr. Thompson.
Moving along here into the 90s, 1992 with Stepfather 3. And this was actually a first-time watch for me. I'd never seen this film before. I don't remember ever renting it, nothing. Yeah, it's just kind of an oddity.
The one scene I remember more than anything is the final like scene in the warehouse with the plants and stuff. Yeah, that scene I remember seeing on TV.
Yeah, it's the only good scene in the entire fucking film.
So quick synopsis here. That psycho stepfather has escaped from the insane asylum and had his face surgically altered. Now he's married again, this time to a woman with a child in a wheelchair. He goes on a killing spree once again.
Different voice modulation.
You know what, though? Okay, check this out. So, Stepfather 3, Father's Day, which is the subtitle that it also got in the home video release.
Yeah.
The first beginning part, I was fucking blown away that it had continuity. I was like, I had never expected in a million years that this movie was going to try to continue Terry O'Quinn, especially after he died again. Yeah. You know, I was like, what the fuck? And so this scene happens where it's like, actually, first of all, the first scene is really well shot with the fog and the lighting and all that shit.
I read that in Fangoria. Let me read this. This came out of Fangoria from the same issue of Deadmail. To avoid the same prompt here, I'll just read that. There was no special effects department on this one, inserted Magger. I knew that in this one I was going to use more suggestions, blah, blah, blah. But then he talks about how, like, this is actually, he went into the Here we go. Surprisingly, no makeup FX outfit was employed to execute the close-up surgery shots. Instead, Mager went one better by going to Fan News plastic surgeon and obtaining permission to film the real thing.
Holy fuck, dude. I thought it looked really fucking real.
I didn't know how heavy plastic surgery was until the day we filmed in Macro-Mints, but we spent 5 hours in the operating room with a macro lens getting our close-ups.
I was going to say the effects in that scene were really good, but
that's the magical thing of Fangoria.
Knowing that they're actually real,
are you going to read that at?
That's actually pretty fucking. That's why they look so damn good.
Wow, crazy. But before that scene, even when he's walking on like the docks and stuff, the blue lighting and the fog, I was like, actually, this is really good. Like these shots. The one thing that I'll say about that opening, so right away, once I realize he's getting plastic surgery, I can intentionally see they're not showing his face. He's like leaning down and like the medical table's like there in the way. Like I see where they're going. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where they're going with this.
Yes.
But when he, recovers and he kills that dude, that is the worst scene in this entire movie. The way they use that blurred effect. Now, Jeremy.
There's more of that. There's more in
blur
there.
Effect.
Here we go. I'm going to read it.
How do you feel about blur effect?
Wait. There's more in this article here. So like I said, there was no special effects department on this one. I knew that in this one, I was going to use more suggestion than actually seeing things happen. We don't get shy when we get to the killing and the bloody parts. And the bloody parts, they're pretty graphic, but they're accents in the movie as opposed to its focus.
Yeah, that scene is really, really, really bad there. I don't know how you create a film with how do you, start picture without a special effects team? Like, how do you go into it knowing you're not going to have one?
That just forces you to do shitty filming techniques by blurring out the throat slashing.
Yeah.
Like, are you
because they didn't have an FX department, so they had to come up with some solution.
It's a fucking horror film.
I understand that, but that's why this movie is fucking horrible.
You should have an effects department before you have a fucking director.
Why this movie is trash.
That's pretty crazy that they did. Like that just seems like such an odd choice to roll with that. But
yeah, that's very strange.
Okay, I'm probably going to be in the minority here, but I actually like this movie.
Wow,
the acting is literally some of the worst.
No, the acting's not.
First of all,
the acting isn't the worst.
I think the dude who plays
it's shaky.
Fucking horrible. Dude, honestly, he kind of has a similar voice as Terry O'Quinn.
He's fucking horrible. He's the worst part.
He looks very different, obviously.
Yeah,
he can't act worth the shit.
And I'm fine with their bullshit plastic surgery thing.
Nope.
Like,
wouldn't happen like that. They fucking show a close up of him cutting below his eye. He would have some sort of fucking scar. That's some utter.
But don't they always do, don't plastic surgeries usually not have scars? Like all these celebrities, like I don't see.
You would have at least some, but they're not fucking cutting below his eye, and they're fucking going deep. That's some bullshit.
I don't know.
You'll have scars like eventually, like. I think at first, but I think they fade. Like if you have a really good surgeon,
that's the whole point of plastic surgery.
But the ones behind his ears haven't fade.
Yeah.
Well, that's a part. That's a plot.
What about the one on his chest?
Yeah, because they actually use that as a plot.
Well, that
point
wasn't
too.
Plastic surgery when he got stabbed.
I know, but we don't fucking see it in this one.
Does he have his shirt off? I don't even know. Does he?
I thought they were fucking in the. I thought they fuck at one point.
I don't think they show that camera shot though of that.
You would assume she would see it and say something about it.
Well, maybe
like, oh, what happened?
I don't think
so.
That's
Again in this one. So after he kills that surgeon, that black market surgeon, he moves into this neighborhood, and again, with what fucking money?
Yep.
Well, he does have a job, so we don't know that he didn't just have the job and save up money. You know what I mean?
And what did he do? Did he escape from the asylum again? Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of
but they don't show that in this one. But we assume that he's been working there for a while because he knows all the townspeople and knows the priests and stuff like that.
Yeah, the pacing, the way they construct this film, man, the pacing and shit's so off. Like you can't really grasp the time that everything is taking place. Like when he gets hooked up with Priscilla Barnes and shit. Like all of a sudden, it just seems like it's been a day or two, and it's been like this. I guess a short amount of time.
Well, they mentioned the time. they mention so basically, it's Easter. This one takes place on Easter first.
Yeah.
So he's the bunny. He kind of woos her a little bit.
Yeah.
The guy,
of course, gullible bitches.
Her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, comes and breaks him up, and then a couple of days later, he's at dinner. That's the one time part where it doesn't really tell you.
Yeah, but it seemed, I don't know. It's like something about the time stamps in this. It just doesn't work properly for me. And actually, going back to the boyfriend, that's another fucking odd one that really bugged me when I was watching this film. Was so he kills the fucking boyfriend and just buries him in the flower bed there. But he's never mentioned again by anybody. Like, nobody came looking for him. Like, she never meant, like, nothing.
No, I think she mentioned that.
No, I don't.
I swear I thought she mentioned.
No, he is not. He is actually completely forgotten, which is kind of bullshit. Like, someone just kind of fucking disappears at the beginning of the film, and he's not mentioned ever again. Like, oh shit.
Well, who would mention him?
But maybe her. I don't know. But it
maybe
seems odd.
He took the hint finally of like leaving her the fuck alone.
True. I mean, you could roll with that, but it seemed odd to me, man, that he kept coming around. All of a sudden, he was not around anymore at all.
Yeah, I mean that kind of happens in the previous film too. I think with the male lady. Did they mention that she's disappeared? Oh yeah, they fucking find her dead.
Yeah, no.
I guess that's different when you find them dead.
Exactly. Right. Like he at this point he's just a missing person. Right. Yeah. Like, because work would have been calling like, where did whatever his name go? Where did Andy go? Not Andy, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, he does make excuses for the other guy he kills. Yeah. Where he's like, oh, he went on vacation.
Like at that moment too, right?
His boss, right?
I love when that part made me laugh out loud today, man. I was he kills his boss, gets an argument with him. And
I'm sorry,
and then he's on the phone and he's like, oh, business is already picking up. He's like, hey, he's talking to the person. He's like, hey, you're talking to the new manager. Like, it just happened 2 seconds ago. He's taken that position. Shit made me laugh out loud, man.
I can't stand the little kid. I literally cannot fucking stand him. I want to punch him in the fucking
Dude, this movie is so fucking 90s, bro, with the computer.
Cheesy,
My God.
Okay. What the fuck is he? Some JP, fucking scientist hacking into shit?
You have to admit. So, in dialogue in this film, they stress that the boy, he got into a car accident and, they're thinking it's kind of psychological with him because the doctors have proven that, he can walk. It's just he's not doing it. Kind of thing, right? Yeah. So right there, I was like, it's a fucking prelude to the end of the film. He's totally gonna get up and
everybody
walk.
Knows that's gonna happen.
It's just like so fucking cheesy. It's so fucking cheesy, man. I was laughing. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, right when they said that in the film, I was like, that kid's gonna get up and fucking he's gonna fucking get up and walk in the end of the film. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's clearly set up like that. I mean, it's supposed to be one of those inspiring moments.
There's a lot of convenience, like the storyline in the film where the kid is like obsessed with true crime stuff, and he's got a detective game.
This is definitely the worst.
It's so cheesy, dude. It's so cheesy.
Of the like finding out.
Yeah, dude.
Who he is.
The way
this is the worst.
Oh, it's so fucking cheesy. Everything about the whole breakdown with the way the kid solves the mystery.
It's like they tried to make it like a family film at the same time as a horror film.
Yeah. Because
seriously, like the whole plot with the kid is literally like right out of like a family movie.
It's like out of Goosebumps or some shit, man. Like
no. It's here's the thing, right? Like he takes the picture of the TV,
fucking sucks.
Prints it out.
I'm gonna fucking shoot myself.
It feels very.
Let me talk about some stuff that I actually like about this movie.
I really do. I hate that fucking kid.
I didn't hate the kid at all.
I hate him.
I think I hate his story. It doesn't make any sense.
He overacts like a fucking idiot. I hate it. He makes Isaac in Children of the Corn 666 look like best actor kind of fucking.
I didn't even think Isaac was too bad in Children of the Corn 666. It's everything else that sucked. He was probably the best part. But So one thing that I liked about this one is I thought the scene where the kid he's playing football with the kid, like passing the football, and he falls out of the chair.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that's like kind of brutal. Like I feel like he's like being like abusive to this wheelchaired kid when nobody's around. You know, we hadn't seen much of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like that. I actually liked the father, the priest. I thought he was pretty cool. How he had his little bonding with the little kid, and it's kind of fucked up to kill a priest too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and that's actually a problem I had with that kill too, because that was done, I think, in the second film, the exact same kill where you fucking. Or was it in the first? I can't even remember now.
See, they all blend together.
Well, it's the first film.
It is
the first film.
It is in the first. Yes.
How the fuck is this kid some sort of computer genius that he's able to hack into all these fucking computer databases?
Here's what it is. It's the 90s, and because nobody knew anything about computers, they would get away with saying shit like that, and people would be like, "Oh, I guess. I mean, I don't know anything about."
But he literally does it.
They just chalk it up to being really smart.
It.
Yeah, I know, but that's the problem with the 90s in general, is that nobody knew anything about computers.
Computers weren't even that sophisticated to do that shit.
I know, but what I'm saying, you're missing the point, dude. What I'm saying is that filmmakers, because nobody knew anything, they would put this shit in the thing, hoping that nobody would ever find out that computers can't do that. Because at the time, nobody knew anything about them, and so they just assumed that they could do whatever the fuck is in the movie.
Well, this movie should have fucking exist.
Problem with the 90s.
Exactly. It's like the game itself. He's got like this computer generator, you know, solving these detective things.
Scanner. What's up with that scanner? That they don't even fucking.
Yeah, I was like,
they were just making up technology. They were just making up technology.
But that's what they did in the 90s. It's fucking all throughout the 90s.
Even today, that would be impressive.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But now everybody knows. Nobody fucking had a computer in 1993, really. You know what I mean? Like, and if they did, they probably didn't know much about it. So, you know, that's
I had
why.
A computer in 93.
I was 2.
I had one. I was 13.
92,
I was 12. Yeah, I had one.
I did have a Commodore later.
I never had a Commodore.
No?
No. My buddy Billy did.
I used to play
playing those floppy disks. Playing the floppy disk games.
Yep.
Oh my god!
I used to play Lemonade Stand. It was a game about selling lemonade through text.
Yeah, so this one does have. It does change up the norm from the previous two films. I will give him that, where the stepfather kind of he's involved with his family, but then he has kind of someone on the side because shit's not.
Yeah, he's working. Already setting up his new life. I thought that was kind of cool, and it's actually kind of intense, like when they're close to running into each other.
Well, I actually had a problem with that. Or not with that, but okay, so he was renting out his house to his his mistress, I guess, if you want to call her that, and so I'm assuming that when he hooked up with his present wife, Priscilla Barnes, she had never been to his place before?
No, she has. That's why she's like,
I know where it is.
Yeah, that's why she's starting to get suspicious.
But she kind of tells her exactly what house. Like, read it that exact moment.
No. And she says, like, yeah,
I
know where that is. Like, she knows about it. That's what leads her to fucking be a little curious at the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean, right at that moment, wouldn't you be like dead set on the fact that he's cheating on you with her if she is living in his fucking house?
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe not. Maybe just because she figures, he's living with me now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would, but like most of these chicks in these,
we're dealing with a married woman here, man. Her first inclination would be like, yeah, you're a fucking scumbag. You're totally cheating on me with this bitch.
Yeah, but why? Because he rented out his house, though?
It seems like he's like there's something going on there, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it seems like he might be, like, my first instinct, like, yeah, once you start putting together the fact that he called her son that dude's name and stuff, like, then, but before that, I would just assume he's trying to make money and not tell me about it, dickhead.
More stuff to be suspicious about, I guess.
Yeah, but... yeah, I did like the mistress type thing where he's setting up the other life and things like that. I actually thought that for the concept of this one,
he's kind of sloppy with it though too, because like he's at in the yard and he's playing football and they're like having a fucking gay old time, tickling each other and shit, and then and then the priest shows up and kind of like single-handedly busts them. I'm just like,
I know, but I think that it's because she said it's like all the way at the end of when she was describing where the house was.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to believe that it's pretty unlikely that somebody would just show up there. You know, like you'd be a little bit more, I guess. It's not like in suburban, like right down the street, you know.
I don't know. I just found like it was just so obvious, right? It's like, why the fuck is?
I don't know. Like whenever you're cheating, right? Like, like I know people who cheat. They don't hide in the fucking basement when they're at the person's house. Sometimes that's the risk you take when you cheat.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't.
Plus, he plans on doing this very quickly, right? He's ending this one. He's getting ready to kill her. But then the kid comes back home and he's like, "Oh, now I'm confused on what I should do."
Yeah.
And you know, he's setting it. That's why. Hey, that's why he should.
That shit is so. That is so fucking cheesy, man. When he's like, when he's watching what is it, what's the TV show that he's always watching? The true crime shit. It's like America's Most Wanted. It's like the fictitious
America's
version.
Most Wanted, and then the sequel, the remake does the same shit. America's Most Wanted.
They use America's Most Wanted in the remake, but in this one it's like
a knockoff.
It's some weird knockoff and shit. And the scene where they show a picture of of him kind of thing, and then he goes to take a picture and he's like, "Ah, man," he's like taking a picture of the TV.
Why did this thing end up happening? Why does this movie exist? For what reason?
I think the first and second one but you said it earlier. They sold a ton of VHS.
That was 3 years later. Like what? I don't know.
I don't know. Sometimes you have a property and the property has switched hands. It's Vidmark here, so they probably got the rights and they're like, "Hey, let's try to make money on this Stepfather name." I give them props for trying to make an actual sequel instead of like a reboot. Because it's hard. Like, I would rather, if given the choice, if you're telling me there's Stepfather 3, it could be a new guy, or you could continue on. I say let's continue on, even though it's a new guy, but it's the same character. It's like Henry 2, right?
Wait, he says something in this about that. In this, see, I came a little bit prepared. I marked down what I wanted to say. He says Robert Whiteman said, "I could do a really good impression of Terry O'Quinn, but I found that it was interfering with the acting process." That's what he said.
Yeah, I didn't think he was overly that bad. I mean, there was parts in the film where I thought, you know, even from Priscilla Barnes, I thought her acting at times was a little bit shaky and shit. But I don't think it was as bad as Jeremy was making out to be. Like the worst acting ever? I don't think so.
No, not the worst acting ever, but I mean, it's up there with Dimension acting.
Yeah, I mean, the kid sucked, but
I just think everybody sucks. I mean, the priest is probably the only good character. And the way,
I actually like
and the way he dies is
Priscilla Barnes. She's from Devil's Rejects. I've seen her in a few other things too. Yeah. I actually like her. She's like I don't know, she just looks like mommy. Like she looks like a mom, you know what I mean? Kind of like her.
At least it's watchable.
I like it, dude. I agree that Oh, she was in the Backlot Murders too. How about that? I agree that it's pretty shoddily made in a lot of departments.
It's super tame too. Like this one,
is.
It's
because they didn't have an FX department. Bro.
Yeah, it's a little bit talky. I mean, the movie obviously runs way too long.
That is the biggest problem. If this thing was like 80 minutes, dude, I think it would have been. I think it would have actually made it a better movie.
Tighten up the shit, man. Just it's a simple story. It doesn't need to be. Pushing 2 fucking hours with this story. It's ridiculous. I was watching it last night. Especially since we've already spent 3 hours or, 2.5 hours watching the same story.
Listen, last night I was watching it and I got to the third act, like the final part, and I started getting tired. So I was like, you know what? I'll just finish this up in the morning. And I was like laying down to go to sleep and just like rolled over. And like so much time had went by and I'm like, I turned back over. I'm like, this shit's still on. I couldn't believe it, dude. I was like, holy shit. It feels like it's been another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ratings.
Okay. I mean,
I don't have anything else to say.
Dudes.
Yeah. This one right here, man, is, I feel like the timestamps in this one are just so off. There's something awkward about the way things kind of progress in this film with the love story, and I don't know, man. It throws me right off.
It's like watching an Italian film. They don't do the traditional.
Oh yeah, here's a goof. After 2 years of being in the wheelchair, Andy's leg muscles would have atrophied to the point of him not being able to walk or even stand at all.
That. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's obvious. That's obvious. You don't use something, it's not going to be usable after a long time. But yeah, it's just the running time for this story that we've seen twice already. I do like, and I will give them props that they put in the continuity into this. That's actually pretty interesting. I totally 100% agree with you, JP. That's pretty surprising. But man, it's not great, man. It's very dumbed down.
Felt like a TV movie to me.
It does, man. I really, I just,
is it a TV movie? Because I'm reading that it was a direct-to-video.
I think
it says TV movie on IMDb.
Then I guess it was. Okay, that makes that. Yep. Okay, so that's why I seen it when I was a kid. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah, TV movie. Yeah, so I guess that explains why they didn't have to hire an effects crew.
Yeah, but this isn't fucking Fox. It's fucking HBO. Goddammit.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. This one is pretty. It's tame. It's kind of.
Is there an extended cut?
It's not that
IMDb
fun.
Says an hour and 50 minutes.
The thing with this film is just it's not that much fun.
And it is an hour. It's like an hour and 41.
It's overly cheesy is essentially what I'm trying to get to, man. There's so many aspects of this film that are beyond cheesy that it's just laughable. I mean, the first film to me is scary. The second one's more or less, the same. But this one right here just doesn't have that fun factor to it, man. It's kind of almost boring. This one essentially is kind of boring to me. 5.5 out of 10. I honestly didn't really care. I didn't think it was the worst film I've ever seen. I thought the acting was going to be a lot worse, but I do give him props. Like I said, with the certain things like the continuity and some things that he did in the film. With the love interests and shit. I thought that was kind of a nice dynamic and stuff. But otherwise, not a whole lot here to offer. 5.5.
Jeremy?
3.5. Absolutely hated it. It was a drag to watch.
Yeah, I actually like this movie. It like gave me a lot of the same feelings as the first two Stepfathers, but in a like generic way. It's like a knockoff brand of the Stepfather. But sometimes I don't mind eating the knockoff brand food if I'm hungry, So I like that about it. It has like so much of the same stuff. It keeps the continuity. The Camptown Racer song is still there. I kind of enjoy the cheesy '90s computer stuff. I know that it's not necessarily good, but like personally, I just am nostalgic for that era, I guess. So that probably factors into this watch a little bit. I love 90s stuff in general. And this really kind of made me feel like it just looked like even the Easter egg hunt just like looked like something I'd seen when I was a kid. And I don't mind this one at all. I would watch it again. It is long, but I would if it came out on Blu-ray, I would totally buy it in a trilogy. I mean, I'd mostly be buying it for part 1 and 2, but part 3 would be a decent bonus. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Cool.
What's all the noise?
I thought I could make this work, but I can't. This isn't the right family for me. The boy is the problem. He has no respect. You haven't been hard enough on him. You've got to make a boy understand. You got to break him if necessary.
All right, so getting into the remake of The Stepfather, which came out in 2009, which was directed by Nelson McCormick, who also did the Prom Night remake.
Oh, damn. I didn't even know that. Let me just say this, okay?
Ugh.
As we extend further from this decade, we're almost 10 years away now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you starting to feel like the decade had a feeling? It's starting to have its own sort of vibes.
Look, it has
this film feels just like Prom Night, which makes sense.
Disturbia.
Also, Sorority Row, Disturbia, like all these movies are starting to develop their own feel.
Yeah,
Disturbia. This movie's just Disturbia.
Yeah, it's easier to recognize now. It's easier to recognize that we're
the main
we're
Black
so far.
Christmas. Especially the remakes. Those era of remakes.
Jesus.
Those era of remakes, especially like the mainstream ones, all feel exactly the same.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the 2006 to 9.
They definitely have that type of feel to them. 100%. I think it's easier to notice now.
When a Stranger Calls is another one.
Because we're so far removed from, almost 10 years is a long time, right? I think it's easier to pick out, for sure. But yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that.
They all look sleek is the word I would use.
That is true. So, the original rating on this film, for, I guess, theatrical would have been, it's PG-13.
Correcto. And it shows.
Say that?
It definitely does show. Did you guys watch the unrated versions, or did someone?
No, I watched theatrical.
Okay, so I think I probably know what the difference is. You said there was like 40 seconds difference or something like that. I'm pretty sure I know what they probably cut out of the.
Probably the kid in the beginning.
Yeah, probably in the opening scene. Yeah, because
I watched the unrated director's cut.
Okay, so we'll get into a synopsis. Well, we don't really need a synopsis, do we? But anyways, Michael returns from military school to find his mother happily in love and living with her new boyfriend. As the two men get to know each other, he becomes more and more suspicious of the man who is always there with a helpful hand. So this film right here starts out with a homage to the original Stepfather film. It has, of course, the stepfather in the bathroom. They do not show his penis in this one because it's PG-13. And he's transforming. He has a beard and he's doing the shaving thing and stuff. And it's actually quite an extended scene. It's almost too long in this one. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't work as well as the original film. I think he does too much stuff. They kind of prolong the whole scene. But when they go downstairs to, and you get to see the massacre, what he has just done to his family, it's definitely not as bloody at all. It's not as disturbing.
No, there's no blood.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And that comes to the whole fucking thing that I hate about remakes is if you're gonna remake it, do it better or don't do it. Don't do that scene if it's not gonna be better.
This is a prime example of they did not make it better at all. They
could have just took out Amber Heard's ass for like 8 more seconds and just put in the gore, and that would have been fine.
In the rated version, or Jeremy, do they pan around the room? Do they show the dead kids? Okay, so that's I picked it out right away. I'm like, I bet you that's what's cut out of the theatrical version. So in the unrated version, they pan around the room and you get to see kind of close-ups of the dead kids. They're not bleeding. There's no blood. Getting tired. But so the scene it's extended. It's not as effective. It's kind of, we've seen it before. It's just not as shocking. The original scene is just, it's one of those images that you can't get out of your mind. This one is, a little bit.
I liken it to the Elm Street remake where they do the Freddy through the wall thing. It's like, if you're not going to do it as good or better, just don't do that scene. Damn it, just don't do it. Like, how can you be a filmmaker and direct that scene and then be like, well, this isn't even close to as good. Yes. We can't have this.
Yeah, that's a good example. That's a great example.
This movie does some things better, more things not better.
Did you notice in the original, in the first scene, it actually takes place on Christmas? They get the Christmas music playing, so every film kind of takes place on a different holiday.
Yeah, Easter,
Thanksgiving, Father's Day, and Christmas.
Damn, hodgepodge.
Isn't that interesting?
Cool.
It has no feel of Christmas. If they weren't playing the Christmas music, you would never know because it's summertime.
If they really wanted to,
it looks like it's summertime.
They would have Camptown Racers.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. What's your guys' thoughts on this guy playing the stepfather?
He's not bad. He's no Terry O'Quinn, but he's not bad.
When I first watched this movie,
he's okay.
I did not care for him whatsoever. But this time around, I actually liked his performance. I thought it was it was good. Like, he wasn't trying to be Terry O'Quinn. He put his own kind of spin on it and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's just more what it comes down to is just the script itself. Like, they even mention in the film, like, oh, he's overly nice. He's too helpful, this and that and stuff. And they kind of overdo it with this character a little bit, I feel like, in this one. You know, it's so much, man. There's just so much with him. He's just almost too nice. It's disgusting. You know, it's disgusting in that act.
Yeah. I think that they do a good job in this one, actually making him seem likable with like the eldest stepson. He knows right away. He's like, this is the guy I got to convince. This is the stepson, the eldest stepson. This is the guy I got to get on my side. So he takes him down. And he does like the tequila thing, right?
Yes, yeah.
Which is like you instantly feel respected
thing.
if you're a teen, right? You feel like, oh, I'm not lesser than this guy. Like he sees me as an equal, you know. So
it's a smart.
I do
it's
like
smart
that.
writing. It's smart writing because only somebody that's really interested in trying to bond with you is going to share his special stash with you, right?
Exactly.
It's actually
and especially
very
when
smart.
you're underage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's smart.
And it makes him seem a little cool too. Like, okay, like he's like, although he's like kind of square, he still has a.
I did like the fact that they strayed away from having, you know, they didn't fully remake the first film. They didn't use, you know, the teenage girl. They have the older boy, and then this one. You know, it's kind of interesting in this film too because the family has 3 kids, but the other 2 kids are really not part of the film, especially the daughter. The youngest daughter. Like she's only in a couple scenes. There's a scene where you know he kind of puts his hand on the younger boy, but the whole film revolves around the oldest boy, and you know, and basically his girlfriend who's in a bikini like the entire film. I have to say, I wish that they didn't. I mean, I know this sounds kind of ridiculous. I mean, I liked looking at her. She was, you know, she's pretty cute.
Oh my god, she's cute. She has just a little bit too much of a case of anorexia, but besides that, she's really
definitely too skinny.
I think you think she's way hotter than I do, but
I think she's hot. Yeah.
I think she was good. Her face was she's
got a good smile,
skinny, a little too skinny, but. I just didn't like. I fucking hated the boyfriend girlfriend thing in the film. I wish that she actually wasn't even part of it. I wish
that dude looks like the dude looks like Jonathan Taze from 10 years ago.
Because she doesn't really bring anything else to the film except for the eye candy, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's no. He doesn't have a lot of issues with it. Like they don't have this whole subplot with their relationship. It's just she's just kind of there, being part of the story. And I feel like she's literally there to be in a bikini and look hot in the film. It's fucked. It's totally fucked. It's
because they're trying to capture that teen crowd, right?
Oh, for sure.
You got to have the teens in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what? This one to me, I think it starts off good actually, but I think that the further it goes along, the more like I don't know, boring and just like drawn out it feels.
Yes. Well, again, this movie runs way too long. They try to it gets a little bit talky at points, and it's kind of fucking ridiculous like how extended some of the scenes are and shit. But yeah, this one runs, you know, close to 2 hours kind of thing, and it's like, what?
140.
We don't need this much to the story. I mean, you can get to the third act way quicker than this. And I don't know, man. What are your guys' thoughts with? I like the dynamic of having the, you know, the ex-husband in the picture in this film. You know, that's kind of cool to bring him in there.
Yeah. I think it works better in this one than it does in all the other films.
Yeah.
When he comes in, he flips out on him for like the youngest son telling him that he, you know, assaulted him essentially.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I like that because it feels very realistic. Like that's what I know that people would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've seen that happen. You know, whether it's justified or unjustified, but it's just the gut reaction.
There's this like the okay, I thought about this. I remember when the part happened in the film, but you know how the dad shows up at the house because he's leaving town again to say goodbye to the kids and stuff. And
predictable.
He takes a cab,
very convenient.
He takes a cab there, and of course, you know, one thing leads to another, and Stepfather ends up killing him. And so he has to go out to the cab to grab the bags and shit. Like, doesn't that seem a little bit fucking odd? This guy's on his way to the airport in a hurry, and all of a sudden he's not going, and the cab's just like, okay, man, pay your tab. See you, man. I'm like, give me a fucking break. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I've went out and told cabs that, you know, never mind before. So it's not that.
I just don't understand if, like, you're in a relationship with somebody, why the fuck wouldn't you ask what's in all the locked containers in the basement? And why do you always keep the basement door locked? Like,
well, they never
it's tequila. That's his man stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like there's anything.
The whole fucking there's like 40 containers down there.
Well, he's obsessed, right? Like he talks about, and they do bring that up in the film, that he's a wannabe carpenter and stuff. So instead of making one cabinet just for his liquor, he made a whole basement full. He's just got that addictive personality, right? When he's doing something, he's going full tilt forward, right? So
yeah,
you know, it's explainable. He's not really hiding anything until he kills the father. You know.
Yeah, I like the scene where he is talking about his daughter and his wife, and he says, you know, Michelle, and then he says Lisa, and they like I always like those moments because it's like, oh fuck, like I don't know, they always work for me.
I like I think it's the first dinner scene, actually. Yeah, I think it is the first dinner scene when they're talking about this woman that killed her kids or whatever, and you know, I think the mom gets up from the table. And then he kind of mumbles under his breath. He's like, well, maybe they disappointed her. The son kind of looks up and kind of gives him that look like, what the fuck did you just say, man? That's a good one.
But I can totally see, like, somebody saying that joke, too. Right?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. It's like such a dad joke.
You know, overall, this film is, you know, it's very similar to the original, but it's not. You know, it's a dumbed down version of it. It's not as brutal. It has nowhere the level of brutalness to like as the first film does. That's what makes the first one so effective. It's just nasty and it's gritty and it's brutal. And this one, you know, with the PG-13 rating, the kills are not there. They're very mild. It's not as effective. But overall, you know, the more I think about it, I really kind of like this guy's performance in the film. I really don't like the end of the film, though. Again, they kind of
the first time that they don't kill him off.
Yeah, like it's so down. I'm just like, I don't know, man. It screams PG-13, right? You know, it's just ended on this note. Like he just gets away. Like what the fuck? That's it. Like
I mean,
unharmed. Basically, he took a fucking piece of mirror in the neck, and that's it. I don't know. The ending bug. I don't like the ending in this film at all. But I think it's kind of
I mean, I think this one does a few things good with like I think the family dynamic works in this one. It's different enough from the original film to not just feel like a complete retread, but it still keeps the core story elements there. It doesn't do enough to set itself apart in terms of quality as well. You know, like you said with the brutality, like the kills, like it feels like a watered down version.
I'm just gonna push a lady down the stairs. Oh, that's a kill. I mean, it's. I mean, it is kind of way
killing an old lady.
It's way better than part 3.
I do give him props for that.
It's way better than 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie that, like, had I seen it when all the remakes were coming out, I probably would have hated it, like Moods did.
I saw it in theaters. I did see
really?
this one. I forgot.
I felt like there was too much cell phone. Like, I mean, this was a big thing in this era of filmmaking. Right? Cell phones were just when people had cell phones, they threw them into the films, and it was part of the story. Like, there's a lot of cell phone action in this one. It was kind of bugging me because we just watched 3 films from an era where there was no cell phones, and also we jump to 2009, and it's so prevalent. There's texting, there's a lot of phoning, like there's a lot of story revolving around the cell phone. And you know, my thoughts on the cell phones, it kind of...
Plus, I always say this, like, cell phones date movies. Cell phones and computers, because
these are like the flippy phone.
They rapidly change so fast year to year that it instantly dates your movie. When you're talking about a cell phone that's 10 years old at this point, so different, completely different.
Cell phones of a year ago are dated, kind of thing. Oh, and apparently the cell phones in this film are very shittily made. Because that fucking phone that drops on the ground
like
towards the end.
They were like indestructible back in the day.
Dude,
like,
it fucking breaks.
They're way more...
It breaks into 300 pieces in that scene.
If that was like an iPhone, it would be like 1 million pieces. But back then, those phones were fucking
You know what? The computer actually didn't look that dated.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah, surprisingly. But come on, man. That cell phone dropping on the ground and breaking into like 300 pieces? Give me a break. That does not happen.
He clearly doesn't know how to erase his search history.
Yeah, I know. And that was... Thank you for pointing that out. I have it written down. For somebody that's, you know, supposed to be smart and covering up those tracks, you know, very paranoid and shit. Yeah, if you're going to go and search America's Most Wanted and shit, clear your history, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that was just so... Like, the kid goes on the computer, types in one letter, and all of a sudden it's like American...
And it wasn't Asian ass porn either.
Yeah, it was America's Most Wanted. Comes up right away, and he's like, oh, well, that was easy. Give me a break. So stupid. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this film a little bit more than I did the first time.
Yeah, me too. I even told Jeremy, I was like, hey, is it weird that I'm actually enjoying this movie?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I watched it, I was like, oh, it's okay. You know, it's the era. It's the film of the era.
It's better than some of the other ones that came out. Prom Night.
I didn't even realize until I clicked on IMDb that the original rating on this was PG-13. But I guess, it makes sense.
I knew going into it that it was, but...
What's with this guy making PG-13 remakes? Prom Night PG-13, Stepfather PG-13. That was that era that they were really dumb. Yeah, they were really dumbing down.
Especially right there, man. Right there. Yeah. Right there with the Prom Nights and the When a Stranger Calls.
Or When a Stranger Calls. Wasn't The Fog PG-13 too?
The Fog, which is definitely one of the worst.
Yeah, the movie sucks.
Yeah. But that's why I always give props to Black Christmas, because they actually add more violence and grossness and gore and incest and stuff to that one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say about this one. It came out in October, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really got much on this one either.
I mean, well, shit, this is the fourth time that they've done the same story.
Yes,
the exact same story. So
we reviewed this in the first 3 films.
Yeah. Ratings back to Jeremy, I guess.
Yeah.
Any trivia for this one first?
Yeah, we got a few. Terry O'Quinn, the star's stepfather, was offered a cameo role in this film, but he turned it down.
Damn, that would have been cool.
I wish it said why he turned it down.
Was Lost going on at this time?
I don't know. 2009. Yeah, I think so.
Probably because of Lost. Yeah, it was in its 5th season. That show is huge. Probably conflict, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not enough money.
Yeah, Lost was like the biggest damn show back then, so he's probably getting paid good. Anything else?
A scene in the trailer in which a buzzsaw swings back and forth mere inches away from a character's face was cut from the film for pacing reasons, but it had already been used
pacing reasons.
But it had already been used in multiple advertising materials before it was trimmed from the final release of the film.
Pacing issue? Why don't they cut out some of the unnecessary fucking dialogue and make-out scenes and shit?
That was cringy. The love scene,
really, really cringy, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to. One other thing I didn't really care, like the music in the film, man. It's just it's that era, straight up like radio, rock, pop shit, catering to what they were trying to cater to 13-year-old kids.
Yeah, I don't mind it so much, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Wow. What do you rate this bitch?
I mean, there's a shitload of goofs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well.
But there is some continuity. Anyway, 5.5 out of 10. 5.5.
I don't mind this one. It's all right. It's not one that I'm gonna run back to at all, but I wasn't bored by it.
Better than Part 3.
Maybe it is better than Part 3.
Yeah, it is.
But I think that, like I said, it does a few things in a maybe a little better or cooler or adds to stuff, but it does a lot of the same, just less good. But it's still, it's not a bad movie. Like, if you've never seen the original Stepfather, you'd watch this and be like, oh, that was okay. It's when you compare it that you really see, like, more of the flaws. I'm coming in at 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. With the PG-13 rating, if you were directly comparing this to the original, this one is just like a straight-up thriller. In the original film, it has obviously the thriller aspects to it, but it's very horish because it's brutal at parts. You take the brutalness out of this one.
The second film is the most horror, but they all definitely like feel thriller, like psychological thriller.
Yeah, this one there's a lot. This one,
this one more so than any of the other ones,
for sure. Overall, it's not as bad as I remembered it to be. I actually liked. I don't even know what the dude's name is. Dylan Walsh No, not Dylan Walsh. Who plays? Is that who plays? Yeah, okay.
The Jonathan Taze look like?
Yeah.
He looks like Jonathan Taze.
Yeah.
Like, literally. It's crazy.
I thought he was okay in the film, but
we all know Jerry was jerking off to his abs.
It's a dumbed down version of the original film. I'm also the same as Jeremy, 5.5 out of 10 on this one. But it's not a horrible film by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So
I figured I would come in the highest on most of these, honestly. I like them. They're fun.
It's an interesting franchise to do because you're literally watching the same film 4 times in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's
not much variety here. It's different settings, people, actors, and it's
minor differences.
Yeah. I mean, you even get to the point in the franchise where they even repeat the same kill with the car. It's like, what the fuck? That just blew my mind.
He does the "Who am I here" thing in this one as well.
Yep. Yeah, he does that. But that is going to conclude this Patreon-picked Stepfather franchise episode 137. Man, dude, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man. So, yeah, we'll be back episode 138 sooner than later.
Yeah,
as soon as we work out some kinks.
Franchise roundup.
Yep, franchise roundup.
It's a franchise roundup.
Be Victor Crowley, Children of the Corn, The Runaway, and Tremors 6, or Cold Day in Hell.
Yes, that is right. So stay tuned for that one. We're just trying to figure out some kinks on the rest of that show. I don't know. It'll be coming sooner than later. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Jeremy, you want to take us the fuck out of here?
Yeah, buddy. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 137 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. So if you want to follow the man Moods himself, you could do so at youtube.com/moods616. And yes, JP has returned to the YouTubes. youtube.com/doubleshotj. Please don't waste an hour on his update, but you should anyway. So let's follow me on my channel, youtube.com/NESruler22, but I have not posted in 6 months and have no plan to ever do it again. And also you can leave us an email at the 22 shots of moods and horror at gmail.com. That's the 22 shots of moods and horror at gmail.com. Please follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/22 shots podcast. Join us on our Facebook page where we do a whole bunch of giveaways and fun other shit. But if you have a foreign name, I probably won't add you. Facebook.com, search bar 22 shots of moods and horror podcast. See, the thing with that is, if you have a foreign name, that's fine. I look at your profile. If you're, it says join Facebook like 2 months ago, and you have like 8 friends, I'm probably going to block your ass. Thank you, Moods. I know my outro is fart worthy. All right, did the Facebook, did the Twitter, did the email. If you have any questions, you can leave us a voicemail, and we won't charge you $2. 724-426-6665. And please, please, please support the Patreon to get the sand sucked out of my vajayjay. Patreon.com/22 shots podcast. Thank you, everybody who has continued to support the show over the summer. We appreciate every single one of you. And we're going to get those designs out sooner or later. I appreciate it again, everybody who has, stick in there with us during these summer months. And that should do it, everybody, for episode 137 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast. We'll be back next week with episode 138 with the long-awaited franchise wrap-up show where we dig into some franchises of films that have came out since we've done the franchises on their show. So we're going to be doing Victor Crowley, we're going to be Tremors 6, and Children of the Corn. So stay tuned for that, everybody, and we shall talk to you soon. Everybody have a fantastic week, and that should be it. Thank you, everybody.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to Moods.
Yeah.
And all the other fathers, belated.
And to all the farts that have come out of Moods' butthole during the show, Happy Father's Day.
That's a wrap.